Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Baker. Anywhere Apps are designed to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps are a family of business software products. There are more than 40 products available for business process digitization and automation. Anyware's apps are easy to use, they are standalone, and they are also ready to integrate with your ERP and accounting software systems. Today, I'd like to promote APS Anywhere, which is part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. APS Anywhere, designed for manufacturing companies. Whether you are a process manufacturing company, food and beverage, chemical, and more, or a discrete manufacturing company, automotive, aerospace, electronics, and more. APS stands for Advanced Planning and Scheduling. APS Anywhere is ready to streamline, digitize, and automate your production planning process. As you know, in manufacturing, production planning is not easy. There are always some bottlenecks and challenges. You need to put together your resources, 3M, man, machine, and material. APS Anywhere designed to streamline this process and automate it for you. It is a modern system. It runs on cloud. It also has deployment options for installation on your server or your private cloud environment. The system is scalable. It comes with unlimited number of production planning scenarios, meaning before you execute, you can see the financial implications and timing of your production planning on APS Anywhere. APS Anywhere comes with a very colorful and easy-to-use Gantt chart so that you can see your production planning on a colorful and easy-to-operate Gantt chart before you finalize your production planning purposes. The system is also integratable. It is ready to integrate your ERP system, MRP system, and other systems whenever there is a need. It is designed for manufacturing companies by manufacturing experts. It also comes with ready-made reports if you like to utilize. Furthermore, on APS Anywhere, you can also use demand forecasting function, meaning based on your past manufacturing and sales figures, the system can predict what will be your demand in the future. This will help you manage your supply chain in a more productive manner. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about APS Anywhere as well as Anywhere App software system in general. There is more. I have a direct line for you. You can send me a direct email, kevin@kerconsulting.com. kevin@kerconsulting.com, and I'll be happy to hear from you about Anywhere apps, APS Anywhere, or any Anywhere apps that is offered by Anywhere apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Baker. Thank you for your support. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event, networking and podcasting together. It is called Connectional America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During this unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. You'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event, networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin D, your host. I'm welcoming you to episode 108. Today is December 5th, 2025. And today we are streaming from Houston, Texas, the energy capital of the nation. And today's number is 200 billion. This is the expected ERP software market size globally by 2033. And for your information, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. That's the business software system, a platform that companies are using to streamline their operations. Speaking of ERP and business software, we have a great guest today. I'm going to invite our guest to our virtual stage and I'll get the conversation started. I'm very excited. Let's do this and let's get started. All right, great. Welcome, Greg. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Kevin. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. Happy Friday. I hope you are having a nice week. How is your week going so far?
It's been a busy week. I don't know about you. Once a year, we have a all hands company calls for 3 days straight here at Cherry Beckert. So 4.5 hours of all 3,000 of us on a webinar for 4.5 hours, 3 days. It's a lot of content, but we just wrapped that up.
That's great. Well, I'm glad you are with us today. I'm very excited to talk about ERP industry and business software. You have decades of experience, and we have a lot to learn from you today and learn from your professional insights. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our viewers and to our listeners?
Absolutely. So my name's Greg Kopp, and I lead the Microsoft Business Central practice here at Cherry Beckert. Our brand is Archer Point by Cherry Beckert, and we are the largest by headcount Business Central partner in North America. And then Business Central, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is one of Microsoft's ERP products. And so Microsoft is the largest actually in the mid-market ERP space, even though most people don't know it because they don't market it separately. But Microsoft in the early 2000s had acquired Navision, Exapta, Great Plains, and Solomon. And so Business Central is the kind of the future forward for what was originally the Navision product line. It's also now the product direction for where anyone running Great Plains is headed. So, and then it's kind of exciting. So NetSuite, which is a major competitor in the mid-market space, Business Central has more clients in the cloud than NetSuite does in the cloud, and they had a significant head start going all the way back to the NetLedger days. So I think Microsoft is now well over 40,000, I think in the 45 to 50,000 range of clients in the cloud on Business Central SaaS. So
yeah, these are important numbers and shows the size and depth of Microsoft Business Central. Thank you for sharing this with us. Would you please tell us about your career journey a little bit? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Well, I started out my career in public accounting with Arthur Andersen, and I'm sure there are fewer and fewer people graduating with accounting degrees today who even know who Arthur Andersen was. Although when I graduated, it was the Big Six, and that was a great job to land. So I never thought I'd find my way back to public accounting. I had, done my obligatory tour in public accounting, moved on to finance roles at clients, and then eventually decided to switch careers and move into ERP software implementation. So I've been doing that since the late 90s. And, the company I helped found in 2002, Archer Point, we were focused on Navision, now Business Central. Grew that business to 175 people spread across US, Canada, India, and Mexico. And then last year, we had also turned ourselves into employee-owned. So we were 100% ESOP, and then we sold to Cherry Beckert in October of last year. So now we are Archer Point by Cherry Beckert.
When you think about your day-to-day work, what are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on a daily basis?
Well, I'd say this year has been particularly challenging because one of my key leaders has been out on medical leave since late June. So obviously our expectation is that person is coming back. So it's harder in some ways than when somebody leaves, because then obviously, as tough as that may be, you get to work on replacing that person. Well, since our hope has been all along that this person is coming back, well, what I've done is my best job to try to keep the seat warm while that person's out doing both my job and that person's. So I'd say the last 6 months have been particularly challenging, because I would say it's, how do you do two people's jobs when you don't have any more time in the day? And I would argue you do neither job extremely well, but it's been in some ways liberating because it allows you to figure out what's really important. So my strategic directive here this last 6 months has been, I'm going to do some things strategically poorly to figure out how important they actually are. And then if too many people complain that I'm doing a terrible job, well, that must be important. And then my goal has been, how do I automate it? How do I improve it? And oftentimes what I find is there's tremendous opportunity for process improvement. And that's been part of my journey the last 6 months. So I would almost argue, I kind of like this idea in the future. How do I put some pressure on the system that kind of forces us to re-examine how we do certain things? And having somebody out obviously puts pressure on the system, so you figure out what's truly important.
How do you see the state of ERP industry? So I mentioned earlier in the podcast, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. But if you like to, expand on it, you are more than welcome. Yeah. And if you can also tell us about the industry, how the ERP software industry is doing in general, any challenges, any updates that you can share with our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a weird time with the rise of AI. No one is exactly sure what this all is going to look like. So I'd say one of the big question marks is, what does ERP look like going forward as we integrate more and more AI into the mix? There are some pundits that say ERP is going to go away, everything's going to be agentic AI. I would tell you, I've thought a lot about that, and I don't see that happening. That feels more like marketing hype than reality. But I do think one of the things we're seeing with ERP is more and more automation, more and more leveraging of agentic AI, whether that's true agentic AI solutions or just leveraging AI productivity tools. But I would say over the course of the next probably 12 to 24 months, we're going to see kind of how much of this current AI hype becomes reality. And I would argue, the big question that my own staff and I have clients asking is, does this mean people's jobs are going away? But what I've seen so far in the ways we forget the marketing hype, but how can we use AI today? Mm-hmm. What I've seen is it's an incredible productivity enhancer. It improves output, and we can use it to improve quality. I haven't seen yet that it actually helps or that it would eliminate jobs. Because think about, we said the same thing of email. That was going to eliminate all kinds of jobs. Well, what we ended up with, I don't know about your inbox, Kevin, mm-hmm. but I'm buried. So, these things which were going to eliminate our jobs only seem to make life in some ways harder and more complicated. The volume of information we have to consume. I don't think AI is going to be any different. The amount of AI slop we see getting produced is incredible. In fact, my big argument with a lot of people I talk to, like, oh yeah, I'm using AI to summarize every meeting and do my to-dos. And, now I see fewer and fewer people actually show up live to meetings, because why do I need to show up live? AI is going to do everything for me. I'm like, how often do people actually go back and read those summaries, read the transcripts, do anything with all this AI generated stuff? I don't think a lot, but yet we're getting inundated with more and more information. So I don't know. I think we got lot of opportunity ahead of us. I don't think anybody's job is going to get eliminated anytime soon.
Well, yes, I love the way you look at it and then explain, especially with the meeting notes. This is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, we get all these notes. Like how often people really go back and read it
Yeah.
is a
Well,
big question mark.
and the
It's
thing
good
that cracks me
archiving
up
for
too
sure.
is
Yes.
I feel like any meeting that I don't need to show up to, that I'm relying on AI to generate the notes, the summaries to do, I probably shouldn't have been invited to that meeting, because what that means is I have nothing to contribute. So, my big push is, okay, wait a minute. Any meeting you don't feel like you should show up to or don't need to show up to, get it off your calendar. It's a waste of your time. But I think a lot of what we're getting with AI right now is, I'd call it accelerated FOMO. So, it only allows us to buy into our fear of missing out at scale. So
Mhm.
now I'm going to have all kinds of things I need to go back and review, which I wasn't going to show up and contribute in the first place. So probably shouldn't have shown up. But yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think anybody's job's going away anytime soon.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, yes. How do you see the adaptation of AI in the market in general, especially in small and mid-sized business market, based on your observation?
So I've been talking a lot with our clients as well as IT business leaders, and I'd say that, if I'm talking to peers who are also working in IT, it's a different conversation than when I'm talking to clients. So first, if I kind of take the conversations I have with leaders at firms like ours, it's constantly, oh yeah, we need to figure out this agentic AI stuff. We need to hire people who know AI. But my question for them has been, to do what exactly? And the answer I get back pretty consistently is, well, AI stuff. I'm like, okay, it kind of sounds like we want to hire somebody that knows how to use a hammer. And then when we get them on board, they're going to say, hey, what do you want us to hammer? And we're going to like, I don't know, just start hammering. So I feel like, as I'm talking to other IT leaders, we're skipping ahead to agentic AI when we're barely AI literate. So the conversations I've been having a lot is, how do we get literacy before agency? And then that also is translated into conversations I've had with clients, because repeatedly the conversations I have is, I'm using AI personally. I use it to help my kids with homework. I use it to do meal prep. Okay, I use it to do travel planning or vacation planning. I'm like, okay, but how are you using it in your business? Well, other than email summaries, or helping me with a presentation or respond to an RFP, there's not a lot of what I'd call transformational usage of AI. So then the other thing I've been trying to talk with clients about is, okay, how do I help you build literacy before agency? The problem right now is everybody's out looking for problems that require an AI solution. What I've seen so far is there's almost no problem I have that actually requires an AI solution. However, AI has been incredibly helpful in helping me figure out a solution, which is often other existing technology that I just didn't think to deploy or implement, or it's a simple process change. So that's been the key in coming back to clients and going, okay, let's build literacy before we try to go find agentic solutions. And then let's start small with personal challenges. And by personal, I still mean within an organizational context. So what are things that frustrate you today? They're manual. They could be done better, but you haven't bothered to try to improve it. So let's start with that before we try to go solve big organizational issues, which typically involve more stakeholders, get complicated. So that's been my big push with clients. Literacy before agency. Let's start with personal transformation before organizational. And then repeatedly, I get the ahas. Oh, yeah. There's this thing I do where I copy data from one place to another, or I manually enter data from one spreadsheet to another. Yes, let's go figure out how we use LLMs, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Copilot, to help you think about your problem, help you think about solutions, And then I'm going to probably guarantee you it's not going to be an agent. It's going to be something in Power Automate, or it's going to be, a dynamic intake form, or something simple that you could actually go build yourself.
Well, maybe we can dive a little deeper on these, especially in terms of deploying business software systems, ERPs and other systems, for example. Um, Based on your experience, because you have decades of experience, what is the best way for companies to figure out their need professionally or organizationally, I must say, and how they should start transforming their operations and businesses by utilizing business software systems?
Yeah, I'd say for every company, there's got to be something compelling, because no one chooses to implement ERP software because they're bored or they have extra time on their hands. Implementing business systems is complicated. It takes time, and it's often more money than anyone wants to spend. So the things that I find typically compel people to make a shift are they're growing, and their current systems or processes are limiting their ability to grow. And typically, the easy way to identify that is they're adding headcount as quickly as they're growing their top line. Well, typically, and obviously, we know if the processes are manual, if it requires headcount that scales, as kind of in proportion with your revenue, well, at some point, your processes start to fall apart because the processes just can't handle the volume or the scale or the communication complexity. So that's typically where companies will come talk to us. They've outgrown QuickBooks. They've outgrown Excel spreadsheets. They just can't scale. So there's that. And then I'd say the other thing we find a lot of is there are a lot of cloud-based platforms out there who shall remain nameless, but you can guess who they are, where the publisher will try to kind of get people in with a super low price on an initial subscription, and then they'll jack up the price on renewal. Thankfully, Microsoft doesn't do that. But that's another place where we find people compelled to move because, what they had budgeted for their business systems made sense with the initial discount they got. And then when they get hit with egregious price increases on renewal, they just realize that the business can't sustain this increased cost. So thankfully, that's why we continue to work with Microsoft, because they don't do that. They're in it for the long game. They're never, kind of doing these bait and switch things that we see a lot of other companies do.
When you look at the small and mid-sized market, what are the best leadership examples that you can share with us? It is because when you are deploying these systems, it requires a lot of leadership. It actually comes down to old school change management, really, because you try to bring up the modern systems into the company, and naturally there's going to be a resistance to change. And how business leaders are navigating around these challenges based on your observation.
Well, I know, Kevin, you said on this podcast you like to talk about books. So I would say the best book I have ever come across, and this I recommend pretty much to every small to mid-sized business leader I talk to, is the book called Traction by Gino Wickman. I would say that book was transformational for us. We originally read that book back in 2012. And one of the quotes, now I know it typically gets attributed to to Ford, but I think maybe it even goes back to an ancient Chinese proverb. But it's this idea that vision without execution is hallucination. So I realized we were doing a lot of hallucination. And what that typically looked like in practice is every time we'd have a quarterly meeting, annual meeting, we'd have all these great ideas. We'd come back the next quarter or next year and go, great, how did we do? And people are like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So we had a lot of great ideas, but I would say our accountability was weak, our execution was weak. So one of the things that Traction taught me is if we wanted to grow and we wanted to scale, we had to think about it differently. We had to think about it from a systems perspective. And actually, what Traction talks about is what they call the entrepreneurial operating system. So every business has to have an operating system. Now, there are others in addition to Traction. There's, Gazelles by Vern Harnish, any number of ones, but I'd say we settled on Traction, and that helped us get clear about, what Traction calls the 8 values shared by all, or I'm sorry, the 8 questions shared by all, starting with what's your core values, your core focus, your 10-year target, your 10-year vision, 3-year target, 1-year plan, your quarterly goals down to issues. And so it was incredible, just in helping us get the entire organization aligned. And I would say the other thing that helped a ton is years ago, Microsoft commissioned a study by IDC that talked about what they called the profit valley for a professional services firm between 25 people to 50 people. Talking to a number of other leaders, I now understand, whether it's IT, legal, you name it, everybody understands this concept of between 25 to 50 people. It's either the profit valley, or some other industries call it the killing fields. It's really hard for professional services firms to grow organically through that barrier. And that's why we see a lot of firms do what I call porpoise, where they'll, go up above 50 and then crash, and up and down. So anyone who is facing that profit valley, killing fields, trying to grow the business, Traction is where they should start.
That's a great insight. Truly appreciate it. Well, in your career journey, have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career perspective over the years?
I would say who I look to as my models are what I would call my string of terrible bosses. So I know a lot of times people look to, someone who was a great example as their role model. Mine was a series of terrible models who I swore I was going to do everything the opposite of them.
Makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. And thankfully, as we started Archer Point, I was young and energetic enough to set out to try to prove that I could build a business as the opposite example of what I'd seen before. And thankfully, it worked out pretty well. Thankfully, my models were so poor and so opposite of what a good business should be. Now, the sad thing is my prior leaders operated exactly like most of our industry operated. So it wasn't that they were outliers in our industry. They were pretty much the norm. But, so one great example is the bosses I worked for would always say, sell it and we'll figure out how to implement it later. I was like, okay, but if I don't know how we're going to implement it before I sell it, how am I magically going to have this answer after we sell it? And their constant refrain would be, doesn't matter, sell it. I was like, no, this seems like a terrible idea. And it was, because it was one customer service nightmare after another. The other would be I'd say, hey, I don't know how I'm going to staff it. And they'd go, sell it and we'll just get contractors to come in and do it. I'm like, okay, I have never discovered this magical contractor tree where, the best people are just sitting out, hanging out, waiting for me to call them. I said, if I don't know how to staff it internally, the contractors who have time are probably not the contractors I want. But again, that was the constant refrain. Well, then what most businesses in IT did and continue to do is they would constantly shift people from a project they'd already sold to the new project. And it was, again, one constant customer service nightmare after another. So I kind of swore for our business when we started it, we're never going to sell something we don't know how to implement. We're never going to sell something we don't know how to staff with the people we have. And honestly, that served us really well. So,
In your view, how a good leader should be? What are the good qualities or qualities a good leader should have?
yeah. So I've asked myself this question a lot over the course of the last few years. In fact, in 2019, right before COVID, I decided I wanted to go back for my MBA. And I had to try to explain to my wife why I was doing it, because she goes, "So you're not looking to change jobs?" Nope. You're not going to get a promotion out of this? Nope. Just I want to accomplish a couple things. One is I want to kind of re-energize my learning. I feel a little stale. I feel like this will be a good way to kind of help me accelerate. What's new, what's different, what's changed. And I said the other thing that will help me is I want to understand, can I lead in a context where I don't have any positional authority? And as you know, in an MBA program, everything's a group project. Nobody can claim a title as the reason why somebody has to do what they say. And so it was a great opportunity for me to kind of lean into what I think it's John Maxwell has in his 5 levels of leadership. If you're counting on title or positional authority as the way you lead, that's the least effective. And so it gave me a great opportunity to practice leading in a context where people have to want to follow if you're going to be a true leader. You only get to force people to do something maybe one time. And then after that, they will typically nod their head and say they agree with you, but then go do whatever they really think needs to be done. So I would say the key thing for me, I think, about good leadership is lead by example, be clear. And then I think, too, for people who work in a large organizational context like I do now, is don't wait for permission. So what I've learned a lot, which has served me well, is communicate. So I'd say don't communicate what you're doing, but as a leader, leaders don't sit around waiting for permission to do things. Leaders make a difference. And so obviously, if somebody tells them not to do something, I'm not going to do that. But I will communicate, here's where I'm headed, here's what I'm doing. Tell me to stop if you don't want to see me do this, but I'm going to keep making a difference and make a change. So that's what I would say.
What is your career advice for the next generation professionals coming into the job market nowadays?
I would say, especially for those who think about wanting to start a business, the biggest thing that prevents people from starting anything, whether it's a business, starting a career, changing careers, I think is fear. And so if you recognize that most of the obstacles are internal, well, those I can control. When most people externalize all their obstacles, they think, oh, well, I can't do this until I get, money or investment, or I get time, well, unfortunately, externalized obstacles you don't have a lot of influence over. But if you realize most of the things that prevent you from accomplishing whatever it is you want to do are internal obstacles, well, then the sky's the limit. So I would say, going back to when we started Archer Point, we just found out my wife was pregnant. I had no money. Now, thankfully, I was young enough not to realize everything I should be fearful of. So cash advanced the credit cards, took out the home equity loan, made my capital investment to start the company. And then, hit it hard. So I would say for most people, just don't externalize all your obstacles. Realize, there are plenty of people out there every day with the same resources you have, making life-changing decisions, building businesses, launching new enterprises. So figure out how to do what you want to do to take that first step with what you got.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. Thank you for sharing your professional insights with us and your professional wisdom. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been fun.
Yes, pleasure is all mine, and I wish you a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Well, we had another informative episode today with Greg Kaup. And as you know, in each The American Business Podcast episode, we bring you informative content because there is something new to learn. And within this view, it's important to have experts on the American Business Podcast. And that's what we do. We bring you experts, we bring you leaders, and we can learn from them and from their experience. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We also welcome your feedback, who you would like to see in the American Business Podcast episodes. You can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to advertise, sponsor the American Business Podcast, please also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. I am also inviting you to our website, americanpodcast.tv. We update our website weekly basis. You can see coming episodes, scheduled episodes, our guests, as well as subjects we will cover in each American Business Podcast episode. As you know, American Business Podcast is a YouTube Silver Award-winning podcast. We are in top 1% in YouTube business category. We are growing fast, and I truly appreciate your support. If you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. This is the QR code to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe, and if you are feeling more generous, you can also leave your comments in the chat box in YouTube. Truly help us, and we truly appreciate your support. As you know, every month we put together online business networking event called Connectional America Business Alliance networking event, and we stream live. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event, networking and podcasting together. It is called Connectional America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During this unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. You'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event. Networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Becker. Anywhere Apps are designed to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps are family of business software products. There are more than 40 products available for business process digitization and automation. Anywhere's apps are easy to use, they are standalone, and they are also ready to integrate with your ERP and accounting software systems. Today, I'd like to promote APS Anywhere, which is part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. APS Anywhere, designed for manufacturing companies. Whether you are a process manufacturing company, food and beverage, chemical, and more, or a discrete manufacturing company, automotive, aerospace, electronics, and more. APS stands for Advanced Planning and Scheduling. APS Anywhere is ready to streamline, digitize, and automate your production planning process. As you know, in manufacturing, production planning is not easy. There are always some bottlenecks and challenges. You need to put together your resources, 3M, man, machine, and material. APS Anywhere designed to streamline this process and automate it for you. It is a modern system. It runs on cloud. It also has deployment options for installation on your server or your private cloud environment. The system is scalable. It comes with unlimited number of production planning scenarios, meaning before you execute, you can see the financial implications and timing of your production planning on APS Anywhere. APS Anywhere comes with a very colorful and easy-to-use Gantt chart so that you can see your production planning on a colorful and easy-to-operate Gantt chart before you finalize your production planning purposes. The system is also integratable. It is ready to integrate your ERP system, MRP system, and other systems whenever there is a need. It is designed for manufacturing companies by manufacturing experts. It also comes with ready-made reports if you like to utilize. Furthermore, on APS Anywhere, you can also use demand forecasting function, meaning based on your past manufacturing and sales figures, the system can predict what will be your demand in the future. This will help you manage your supply chain in a more productive manner. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about APS Anywhere as well as Anywhere App software system in general. There is more. I have a direct line for you. You can send me a direct email, kevin@kerrconsulting.com. kevin@kerrconsulting.com, and I'll be happy to hear from you about Anywhere Apps, APS Anywhere, or any Anywhere Apps that is offered by Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Becker. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. list your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin D, your host, and welcoming you episode 116. Today is December 19, 2025. And as you know, we have the code of the day. We have a great partnership with missionstatements.com. By three methods, we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is the noblest. Second, by imitation, which is the easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. That's from Confucius. And today's number is 13.8. There are 13.8 million women-owned businesses in the US. Speaking of women-owned businesses, we have a great entrepreneur today with us. I'm going to invite our guest to our virtual stage, and we'll get the conversation started. Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, good afternoon, Kevin. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
How is your week going so
Happy
far?
to be here. Thank you for having me on your show. Excited.
Of course. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for being with us in your busy schedule. I hope you are having a great Friday, and I'm happy to have you today in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business.
Glad to be here, Kevin.
Well, why don't we just get started? Would you please introduce yourself and your company to our listeners and to our viewers?
Sure. My name is Lisa Ascalise. I'm known as the Inventress. I'm the CEO and founder of Inventing A to Z. At Inventing A to Z, we help inventors and entrepreneurs build their businesses from a napkin idea all the way to the marketplace and everything in between the right way. So that means developing prototypes, graphic design, manufacturing, marketing, which is the most important part of product development, and inventing any product or business. And been doing it for over 25 years. And from that, I built a nonprofit organization called AOE, the Association of Women Inventors and Entrepreneurs, in addition to writing a book. My book is called The Inventress's Guide to Inventing the Right Way, All or Nothing, Now or Never. Because, if you don't do it in the moment, you're not doing it. Do it now, everybody. So in my book, there are 85 pages. I have affirmations after every chapter, and I also have a journal at the end of the guide, so you can actually write down questions for yourself, statements, your journey. Let me try to get to the right page. Well, this is an affirmation. Let's just skip to that. Okay. So I have affirmations after every chapter, which you will need after reading this and understanding the journey to inventing and entrepreneurship. And I do want to get back to those journaling pages. It's important to journal your journey. Journal your journey along the way. Super important. So you see how far you've come.
Absolutely. I love it.
This is on Amazon, everywhere. It's on my website, Inventing A to Z. But certainly pick this up. This is going to be your guide, your Bible to entrepreneurship, inventing, and business ownership.
We love talking about books. We love promoting books, especially books like yours. It's very educational, very informative, very supportive for a professional journey. And I'm glad that you mentioned it. And I know I'm a published author myself. I know how hard it takes, how hard it is to publish a book, how much hard work goes into a published book. So I also appreciate the work that you put into your work, and I'm glad that you talk about this today. Appreciate it.
And congratulations to you. I mean, for writing a book, it really is. It's a big
Yes,
deal.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's an experience that
It is.
any professional must have based on the professional knowledge and accumulation that they have over the years. So that is also a learning experience while you are writing. That's what I learned.
It is. It certainly is.
Well, let's continue our conversation. Would you please tell us about your career journey? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Oh my gosh. I smile when people ask me that because it's been such an amazing journey. I have to start with my childhood, right? So, and that's where it all began. And in fact, last night I was interviewing somebody and talking with them about their journey. So I have great questions I had for him that I'd love to reflect on myself. So I literally started developing products when I was a little kid. I didn't know I was inventing products. I was just recreating things that didn't work for me. So no, at 9 years old, I didn't say I was an inventor, but I clearly, I was inventing, recreating, redeveloping anything that didn't work for me. I had to redesign. I would rip apart my mother's curtains, sheets, and everything to create a product that worked for me. So that's really where it started. And no, and then fast forward many years later, I had a child when I was very, very young, and I was very embarrassed to nurse in front of anybody, right? Breastfeed. So I developed a breastfeeding cape that I could wear in public. And I said, you know what? Wait a second. If I'm doing this, if I'm wearing this thing, there are other people in the world who need it. I'm not by myself. So, and I'm skipping a lot of stuff because you and I would be here for hours talking about this. So the first product I developed was that, got it patented, trademarked, and got a place here in the United States in New Jersey to develop my first few prototypes, got it manufactured and sold. Well, that gave me the real inventing bug when people bought it. When people purchase that product, I said, okay, I'm on the right track. Is this what I'm going to do for a living? Am I going to invent products, develop things that people needed? And well, here I am. Many products later on QVC, HSN, Shop HQ, my own television shopping network, many patents, if you could see them behind me, patents, trademarks, and helping other people to develop products the same way. So yeah, that's a part of my journey. I may have given you a lot more information than you asked for, but yeah, I mean, and that's just the beginning.
Appreciate it. Well, and I love your energy. I appreciate your positive energy. This is really, really energizing for me. I'm sure for our audience and listeners as well. Truly appreciate it. Well, let's talk about your day-to-day work. What are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
Exciting and challenging. Great. Is that what you asked? Exciting
Yes.
and it's all exciting and all very challenging, but I love every minute. So day to day, I consult with clients who come to me with product ideas. They want to develop something. In many instances, inventors think that you just invent something, you put it on the market, and it's done. It's finished. Poof! It's magically. Where's my wand? I got to find it. So magically, the product is invented and put on the market. And I thank God for, I teach classes, fast track classes, educating inventors on how much it really does take to delve in to be a part of the journey of developing product because it's not overnight. So the exciting part are new products. The challenging piece is explaining to inventors that it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes, well, a lot of faith and perseverance.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you some questions about the industry.
Sure.
What is the state of inventing industry? What are the opportunities and challenges that you are seeing from your professional point of view?
So challenges are not for me because I get it. It takes time. So, as I said to you before, when an inventor comes to me with something, they always ask, how long? How long is this going to take? It's not up to me. It's up to them. It's up to communication. The manufacturers, we had COVID, for example. Things shut down. We have no control over anything that goes on when you're manufacturing what products are overseas or whether they're here in the United States. Stuff happens in manufacturing, and the average person who's never invented anything before, never developed a business, doesn't know that there are obstacles like this that are normal. They're normal obstacles. So the challenge is timelines, deadlines. They're not always met. They're almost never met in the manufacturing industry. It's just not the way it is. So in fact, recently, one of my clients said to me, the manufacturer said they would have this done in 60 days. So I said to her, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say to the manufacturer, put on your contract, change it to 90 to 250 days. How about that? So this way, you have, because your brain goes in that direction. If you think something's going to happen for you within that timeline, that's what your expectations are emotionally. So anyway, so the biggest challenges in my business are really getting the person, the inventor, to understand that things don't happen like this. You don't invent a product and it gets on a shelf within 6 weeks. It doesn't happen. It's make-believe. It's not real.
How do you see the impact of AI on business?
It's a twofold thing for me. I love the fact that you can go to AI and get some answers to questions. However, I am a person who likes to do a deep dive realistically for myself, right? I like the human part of communication. So when it comes to AI, yes, as much as they're humanizing or trying to humanize AI, it's not human. So I love it for the information. I mean, they have everything you could possibly imagine. AI is, whatever it is. But I like human connection. I like that human conversation. And I think the downfall will be for our younger generation who has come up in this AI university, that the communication aspect, the people on people, person on person, diminishes. So that kind of saddens me, because I mean, it's inevitable. That's what's happened, and it's happening. But I love it, appreciate it.
Yes,
Just be human at the same
time. Yes, it cannot replace the human touch. I definitely agree with you 100%. Well, so based on your experience with other businesses, and you are also a business owner, also based on your professional experience, what are the best marketing practices nowadays that bring the highest ROI?
Opening your mouth, talking to everybody, marketing your product, marketing your brand. It doesn't change. Nothing's changed. It's always been the same. Damon John, perfect example. Okay. Grassroots. Put the product in your trunk, open the trunk and sell it. So the example is this. See my mug? My brand is on my mug. The name of my company is on my mug. When you get out, when your social media is great, talk about it on social media every single day. Have a YouTube channel, market it, talk to the people at the grocery store. When you're online, tell the people about your product. The only way you are going to become successful at selling your business or your product is your mouth. You can hire 1,000 different people who work for you. Nobody's going to do it the way you do. Get out there, network, go to events, go to conferences, let people know who you are. Create a logo that belongs to you, like Facebook. Facebook, right? They had that logo that you can't forget. Create a logo for yourself, branding opportunities that never, ever, ever go away. You are your billboard. You are your own billboard. Get out there and do it. Talk about it.
I'm glad you talk about networking. I love networking myself, and it's important to promote networking. Face-to-face
come
networking.
to my conference. I have a conference coming up Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. It's a big networking event. It's called AOE, the Association of Women Inventors and Entrepreneurs. Go to my website. You'll find it. So come to the conference. You have to
I'd love to come. Yeah, absolutely.
Fun,
absolutely.
dance,
I love to support our guest. Yes. I'll check your website and I'll be in touch with you, definitely. And if you share more information with me, I'll be happy to promote it in my podcast as well. We promote books and also conferences, because these are educational, informative, and we definitely welcome it in the American Business Podcast. We are the voice of American business, so we know our mission as part of it.
Okay, good. So you got to come to the conference. I'm
Yeah,
holding you to it.
I'll be able to. Okay, absolutely. I'll be in touch.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good.
Let's do that. Well, let's talk about leadership a little bit. The definition of leadership. How do you define leadership from your point of view? And what are the great leadership qualities you will say?
Okay, so leadership is learning first. You can't be a leader unless you learn from leaders, right? Learn to become confident. Learn, I mean, because it's not necessarily a skill that everybody has innately, right? Sometimes we're not born to be confident. Learn from leaders who are confident, so that when you speak, you have you're speaking with confidence to teach others. Okay, and being kind. This is not talked about enough. A leader is kind. A leader is caring. A leader has empathy. Those are my huge key leadership skills. My takeaway, and in fact, I just spoke at Princeton University a couple of weeks ago. And the biggest topic, the grandest topic, I always talk about kindness, but I got a standing ovation because I talked about this. I always talk about kindness, but I made it the key topic. Everybody stood up and applauded. Be kind to the person next to you, in front of you, behind you, on top of you. It doesn't matter. Do that, you will always lead, and you'll always, you'll be respected. You'll be respected. So
great insights.
Have
you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career perspective over the years?
100%. So, I mean, the first people I have to say, my parents. I'm so grateful for my parents, beyond grateful, because without them, I would never be sitting here, the person I am talking with you now. You talk about kindness and leadership and everything. I didn't know my parents were leaders. I just thought that they were great people, right? But as, you know, growing up and looking back at my parents, I go, wow, they were amazing. They led, they were kind, they opened their doors to people. So my parents first. And then I have, of course, my sister, my brother, my family, my children inspire me. But role models in television, in the television industry, and some people you may know, Dionne Warwick, incredible role model, leader, friend, amazing. Again, she leads with kindness. And I've watched so much of what she does, and she's been on my podcast and on my shows, etc. And if anybody out there knows Dionne Warwick, you know Whitney Houston, Dionne Warwick's cousin, good friend of mine, incredible role model, leader, kind person. And there's another person, his name is Comer Cottrell. He's passed a couple of years, but Comer Cottrell was such an incredible role model for me. He was a mentor. He helped me with the understanding of my first hair accessory that went on QVC television. Didn't know how his bigness, his or iconicness, if that's a word, was until after the fact. But I was just blessed enough to be able to speak with him and have him guide me and lead me. So I've been very, very blessed with having these incredible people in my life, my grandmother, my parents, and you know, the beat goes on. Not just business, okay? So when you talk about mentorship, it's not just people in business, it's people around you. Again, I talk about the kindness and the who have tenacity and grace.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
Okay. Don't doubt yourself. Ever. If you think it's the thing you're supposed to do, don't doubt your thoughts. Don't doubt it. You know, I mean, you have to be careful in how you move. I ask God first from all of my moves. But when you know something is right for you, don't doubt yourself. Do it, go for it, because the last thing you want is regrets. You know, I mean, you learn from regrets, but don't doubt yourself. Do the thing that is here. Do it. Just do that thing.
Sometimes things don't go in our way. Sometimes there are hardships, challenges. How to stay motivated and inspired in terms of challenges in business?
Surround yourself with people who will lift you up and inspire you. It's the only thing I mean, have faith for those of you who have faith. I have faith. I go to God first, right? I get on my knees, I pray, I cry, I scream, ah! But surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and inspire you. Call that friend, call that person, not the person who's going to be the naysayer. Call the person that you know is going to say, okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. We've been here before. It's okay. Stay here for 2 seconds and get yourself back up. I talk about that in my book. You're only allowed to be down for 2 seconds and then up because you don't want to stay there. But surround yourself with people who will lift and inspire you.
What is your biggest interest outside of work?
Fun, dancing, music, dancing, having a good eating, going to great restaurants, music, my grandchildren, my family. Like that's my family first. My family. We have a great time. We laugh, as you could probably see, right? We laugh, we have a blast, we dance, we like music, we like to eat, and just I have fun. Laughter.
If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
Wow. Oh man. Would I ever want to go back? I don't know if I'd want to go back. I love where I am, but I like the 60s. I like the 60s. I like the outfits. I love the cachet. I mean, from movies, right? I like that time. I like the sophistication. I love how gentlemen were gentlemen. I loved how ladies dressed up as ladies. I love that. I love that time period. And respect. I mean, whether they respected each other or not, we assume they did, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
I
we
mean, you didn't
assume,
know.
yes.
Like
We
you
don't know,
just
that's true.
you assume that everybody respected everybody. So I really like that. I loved that time. I love that period.
Is there a book, a movie, a show that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
I mean, there are many books, there are many movies, film. I have to say, there's a movie. I think it was called Flick. It was about an invention, a windshield wiper, that I can't remember the name of it. Oh my gosh, it escapes me. That he was trying to get the patent on the windshield wiper. So that was many, 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 many years ago. I saw that helped to shape and help me to understand that there wasn't anything I couldn't do in my product development space. And just another books that I read. So Mark Cuban, love Mark Cuban from Shark Tank. Mark Cuban has a book. It says, "If I can do it, anybody can." I may be jacking up the title, but love that because he's a regular guy who, and I've done things with him before, spoken on same stage as him, met him at Shark Tank, and just an authentic guy who you can learn from. You know, as an inventor, entrepreneur, when you think you can't, you can't. Look at somebody like Mark. Look at Damon John. Look, Barbara. I mean, I could go on and on about many of the sharks and their books. Many of their books. I have all of their books. So, did they help to shape? I'm constantly being shaped. Although I've been in this business for so many years, I'm constantly learning and looking for other tools to help me build and help myself build to build others.
What is the best career advice that you ever received? What is the worst career advice you ever received?
The worst career advice I've ever received is don't do it. Worst. I mean, but it's okay. No, it was the best because I didn't listen to it, right?
Yes.
Because I'm a wayward child. I'm a wayward child. You say don't, I will do. Best career advice? Keep on learning. Keep on learning. And keep on lifting others. And that's it. I mean, that's really that. And you talk about motivation. It motivates me to help others and lift others. So the advice I've gotten from my parents, keep on lifting, keep on learning. I'm looking behind you with all those books. My father would say, read, 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 read. I have books back here too. Read, read, read. Keep on reading, keep on learning, keep on getting educated and teach others.
Okay, so in this podcast episode so far, this is our 116. So any question that you expected me to ask you, but I haven't asked you or I didn't ask you?
I don't know. Where you from? I don't know. I think you've asked me everything.
Okay.
No, ask me where I'm from.
Where you are from? Where are you from?
Sure, I love that question. I was born in London,
Oh.
raised in Brooklyn. I love
How
saying
interesting.
that.
How
Born
interesting.
in London. It's an oxymoron, right? Born
Oh,
in London, raised
wow.
in Brooklyn. So I was born in London with the pinkies up. and
That is
raised in
really,
Brooklyn.
that is really cool. Yeah, actually, that's really something that I don't really ask people, like where they were born. So this is actually a pretty cool question. Yes, very interesting. Well, thank you for these insights. How about your book? In terms of your book, what made you write a book? I didn't ask you this question, and we didn't talk about this earlier, but just came to my mind spontaneously. Like, what made you inspired to write a book?
I had to do it. I mean, my clients ask me all the time, please, please, please give us a guide, give it to us in a tangible thing that we can hold on to. I mean, everything in my book is everything I teach on a daily basis, everything from my consultations to QVC and my television network. It's and how to kindness is in there. So I had to do it because my clients forced me to. Now, I had a book before. It was a book on CD that I put on QVC, and it sold out. And it was called Inventing A to Z, sold out CD version. So I said, you know what? It's time. It's really time. People like to hold on to tangible things, right? And flip through pages. Let's get back to that. So I had to do it. I had to, and I'm so happy that I did. I was forced.
Well, okay. Yes, that's a nice forcing. It's a positive forcing. That's really good. Okay. So in the American Business Podcast, this morning we started a tradition. So we get a question from one of our previous guests. We ask you, and we get a question from you, and we ask to the following guest.
Okay.
So the question that we got from our following guest is, if you had a chance to go back to 5 years earlier, what would you do differently?
Oh, 5 years earlier? Oh,
yes.
Wow. So 5 years earlier was 2020. So 5 years earlier, I probably would have started a cooking show. I did so much cooking and eating in 2020, like everybody else. And a lot of people came out with food brands. Had I known what was going to happen, I don't know. I probably would have started a cooking show.
Yeah, it makes you think. Absolutely. 5 years is not a short time. So it makes you think. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And what would be the question that you like me to ask to our next guest in the American Business Podcast?
Are you happy?
Okay. We lost the question.
That's it. Are you happy in business? Forget I don't want to. No, I'm not a psychiatrist. So I just want to know, are they happy in their business career moves? How about that?
Okay. We'll make sure to ask. And it'll happen an hour later. So our audience, they don't have to wait too long. So that's great.
Okay, good.
Okay. So what is your career advice for the next generation business professionals?
Stay connected, please. Please stay connected. Don't dismiss people. Really, in order to become successful in business, you must stay present, stay engaged, stay personable. Please, please. We don't want to lose that. I know that they're all going to be successful, but success doesn't just come monetarily. It comes with emotions.
Well, so we have 3 more minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up within 30 minutes as I promise you.
Okay.
Well, my next question is, well, we are coming into the 2026 New Year. What are your predictions and expectations for the New Year?
I have to go to sleep and dream about I'll predict for you after I sleep. I'll give you a call tomorrow. But because I do sleep and dream about things that do happen and that can happen, but I have to sleep on it. So I'm hoping that we are a more unified country. I'm seeing into existence that we are going to be a very, very successful country, no matter what. Because when we unify, we can build no matter what's happening around us. So I'm hoping, my hopes and my prayers are that we become more unified, stick together, and lift each other up 2 hands at a time. And as they always say, sometimes you got to use that foot. You didn't expect that.
Yes,
that's one of my statements.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, any question that you would like to ask me?
Are you going to have a good time for the holidays?
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. With family, yes, that's the goal. So I'm grateful for this year. I'm excited for the new year, and absolutely. So holidays are definitely a bless.
Me too. Well, I pray for you an amazing, a special, a kind, healthy, happy New Year.
Thank you. I'm saying to you and to your family, absolutely. And one final thing before we end this interview, if that's okay.
Sure.
So for those who like to be in touch with you, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you and learn about your company, organization, and your conference?
Sure. So my website is inventing, INVENTING, ATOZ.com. They go to that website, they can find everything. My conference is AOWIE.com. May 3rd, 2026. That's on a Sunday from 10 to 2. My Instagram, _inventress. And please go to my YouTube channel, check me out, subscribe, and email me, info@inventingatoz.com. I absolutely respond to every email, every phone call, 732-647-5433, literally answer. If I'm available, I answer.
Of
But
course.
I get back to every single person who reaches out to me.
Lisa, I kept my promise. I complete the interview within 30 minutes. So
Thank you.
I'm not bad at all. I thank you for your time in your busy schedule for being with us. I wish you and your family a happy holiday season and happy new year.
And you do the same. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. To our
Thank you.
audience and to our listeners, we'll be right back after the commercial break. Thank you. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products, and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone is bringing you foreign languages. Learn from the experts, choose your plan to get started, sign up today. New Year is coming, and if your New Year resolution is learning a foreign language, Rosetta Stone is the choice for you. Rosetta Stone is offering you a long list of foreign languages: French, Italian, German, Chinese, Greek, Turkish, Polish, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and many more languages are available for you to get started today. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up for Rosetta Stone and enjoy the learning experience of foreign language. Thank you very much. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Office Virtual Offices. Office is offering you more than 600 different locations in the US. It is $99 a month. This includes prestigious business address, professional live call answering, personalized call transferring, business phone number, local phone number, professional mail services, voicemail converted to email. I have the QR code on the screen. You can sign up for Office today. Office is offering you hundreds of locations in the US that you can pick, any of them that you like, and you can start having your virtual office today. Please scan the QR code and start using Office Virtual Offices today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Gemini Trust. Gemini makes crypto simple. Find, trade, and buy over 70 different coins, including Bitcoin and Solana, on the best cryptocurrency platform. Gemini Trust. Start trading crypto here. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and start signing up today. Because they have a great customer service, you can reach out to them and get assistance 24/7. Scan the QR code and start trading crypto on Gemini. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta Watches. Invicta Watches are known for their stylish design for men, women, as well as for unisex watches. When you scan the QR code on the screen, it will take to their online store and you can start shopping right away. When you go to the Invicta store website, you'll see watches in different collections for men, for women, different colors, different designs, as well as different sizes. There are hundreds of watches that you can see and you can pick from. Because it's end of the year, you'll also enjoy the benefits of their end of the year promotions and discounts. True story, I'm an Invicta fan. I've been using Invicta for many years. I have more than 10 Invicta watches in my wardrobe. This is one of them that I like. The style is pretty cool. I use these pretty much weekly basis. I have another one that I use on my wrist. This one is pretty cool. This one is called Shutter. I can change the case just by turning the buttons, and I can have different style of watches pretty much every day. Because it's pretty business looking, I can actually wear this with my business outfit as well. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. I'm sure you'll like Invicta watches. They have great styles and different colors, as well as different technologies such as quartz, mechanical, automatic, and other watches are also available for your liking and for your choice. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. Thank you very much for your support. Support for the show comes from Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Beckert. Anywhere Apps are business software products designed for small and mid-sized organizations. They are ready to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to promote Asset Management Anywhere. Asset Management Anywhere is a CMMS software system. CMMS stands for Computerized Machine Maintenance Management System. It is designed to help you manage your assets. Your assets may be your machinery, equipment, your buildings, trucks. You can register all of them on Asset Management Anywhere. Asset Management Anywhere comes with unlimited asset management capabilities. There is no limit, there is no upcharge. Moreover, you can perform your break and fix, preventive and predictive machine maintenance management operations on asset management anywhere. If you have a fleet of trucks, you can also manage maintenance operations on asset management anywhere. If you are performing facility management for plumbing, electrical, and other facility management needs, you'll also enjoy the benefits of asset management anywhere. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about asset management anywhere and anywhere apps in general. There is more. I have a direct email for you. You can send me an email at kevin@kerconsulting.com to ask your questions, also to schedule a demo. And I'll be happy to coordinate it with Team Anywhere apps to show you the systems as well as address your questions. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy Anywhere apps. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the American Business Podcast. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to advertise your company, your products and services, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We also welcome sponsors and sponsorship inquiries. Also, you can send us an email to inquire, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. I also like to invite you to our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn the latest about the American Business Podcast. Also, you can see the coming schedule that we will stream in the American Business Podcast as well. And if you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe our YouTube channel and support us. And I have the QR code right here. You can scan the QR code. It'll take you to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe if you haven't done so. And if you share your comments, your thoughts in the chat box in YouTube, we'll also appreciate it. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest in the American Business Podcast, and looking forward to having you in the coming American Business Podcast episodes. Thank you very much and have a great day. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin D, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 117. And today's number is 33. That is the global business process automation market is expected to be $33.4 billion in 2042. And quote of the day: mistakes are the stepping stones to wisdom. We learn from trial and error. We become wise by understanding problems. Thanks to our partnership with missionstatements.com. Great. Well, we have a great guest today. Let me invite our guest to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. All right, perfect. Hello, Riaz. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. How are you? It's very nice meeting you in the American Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me. Very nice to meet you as well, Kevin.
Pleasure is all mine. How are you? How is your week going so far?
Week is good. Good. It's a little cold in New York area, but things are good.
Yes, I'm also in New York metro area, and I agree with you. So it got a little warmer compared to a couple of days earlier, but still it is cold. So it's good for the holiday season and the spirit, but it's really cold, so we need to protect ourselves. Well,
Absolutely.
so I'm actually really curious about your professional experience, and our audience, I'm sure they're also ready to hear from you. So maybe we can get started. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your company to our listeners and to our viewers?
Yeah, I run, and thank you for that question. I run the company called Synergy Consulting. We are a full um, end-to-end service provider on the technology and marketing front. I started the company about 12 years ago with my business partner, and we do mostly tech and AI automation, from building apps to websites to actual automation is what we started with. And now we are moving more into content automation with AI.
So, how did you get started? Can you tell us about your career journey, how your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Sure. Well, I got really lucky when I was in college. I was able to do some research on some technology. I wrote a few books while I was in college. I went out and worked for companies like GE, and back in the day, if you remember Netscape, I was working for them. Then I worked for a couple of other startups right off the bat. Worked for Cozon.com from CompUSA. I worked for a consulting company here in Stanford for 10 years as a CTO. And then I thought I would start my own company. I was always a entrepreneurial person, and that's how I started Synergy Consulting for the last 12 years.
When you look at your day-to-day work, what are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
The exciting part is always, dealing with clients, finding new clients, opportunities, um, dealing with folks who are tightening their budget, making sure they're always optimized. That's always a challenge. Also, I am a person who cannot do everything by myself, so I have to manage people, and people management is probably the hardest thing because in many ways, I'm a perfectionist, and when I'm producing something, I'm putting my company's name and my name with it, so things have to go right.
Can you tell us about the state of the technology industry that you are in?
Well, you know better than anybody else, technology is always moving and always changing. We are seeing dramatic changes right now. Um, Things that used to take longer time is taking less time. So clients are expecting more result for less, investment. So definitely technology is moving very, very rapidly. Things are evolving in many ways in many different areas, AI, robotics, and so on and so forth. And I think companies that used to do just pure software development, they have to pivot like we have to change the way they used to service clients or develop applications.
Well, you just talked about AI, so that was actually my next question. How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
It's sort of like asking somebody, do you have a cell phone? This is what AI is going to be. If you don't know how to use AI, you're going to be one of those folks who are going to be left behind. Today, you cannot think about not having a smartphone because everything is on a smartphone. So AI is going to be your everyday companion. How you use it is what's going to make a difference. Everybody has a smartphone, as I said. How you use your smartphone is how you make progress in your career or day-to-day life. AI is going to be one of those things where individuals who know how to use AI, they're going to be ahead of the curve. If you're afraid of AI, you're actually not doing justice to yourself. So you have to learn how to use AI and not be afraid of AI.
I love your approach. Similarly, I had a podcast interview with another expert, a technology leader, back in August, and he said one thing for those trying to understand AI: whether you learn AI or someone else will take your place who knows how to use AI. So, just to your point, just to support your point, looks like that's the way to go. Um, well, as a business owner, what are the best marketing practices that you have been seeing that brings you the highest ROI nowadays?
Well, the days of putting ads on a content, those days are in my opinion are the old ways of doing things. Now everything is organic content. Social media is now has changed to interest media. So social media is one of the best way to market your product and services. Also, TikTok has become a big part of everyday lives for many people, from services companies who are going live to talk about their services and having that personal branding. Uh, Marketing is now becoming a lot of personal branded approach. So founders cannot be behind the scenes and not do like I'm doing a podcast right now so that people get to know who I am and building the trust. So marketing these days are becoming more about, how authentic and how consistent you are be using social media, because social media is part of life. But there are other techniques that you would have to use, which is creating that relationship with that client. Those old ways are still there, but approaching the client so they can see you consistently. It takes 7 or 8 touch points for somebody to make a decision to work with you. You have to have that organic content mindset. And organic content mindset starts from on social media, because everybody's on social media.
From your point of view, how would you define leadership and what are the great leadership qualities?
That's a very important question, because leaders, the right leaders, they lead with examples, right? If you have never ridden a bike and you're asking, hey, go fast, and you have no experience, you have no idea what uh, challenges they're having. So leadership starts from experiencing what the other person have experienced, and lead by examples with compassion and no fear, because if you use fear, the person has a choice to leave you. So I like to use leadership, or I like to be a leader who leads with examples, with compassion, and making sure that, what happens if this person doesn't show up to work? Can I do at least, maybe not the 100% they're doing, but maybe 60%? So I have to know what's happening within my organization and not be blinded because somebody might decide to leave or whatnot. And always leaders have a backup plan. You should have a backup plan if you want to grow your company. So you need to figure out how, so when things do not go right, what are the things that you need to do to pivot. And great leaders are always have their ears on the street. So great leaders have that vision that things are moving this way, and we're going to pivot the company, or we're going to pivot our team, and we're going to be doing it in a cohesive way. Another very important thing I think about as a leader is to keeping your team motivated, especially when things are not going well. When things are not going well, you have to make sure that you don't let the team see your frustration, see your fear, because in a business there's always going to be change, and this change, the experienced leaders know how to deal with that change, and don't let the team that are looking forward to leadership, the right leadership, they don't get rattled by those change.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
Change is constant. Change is constant. Things don't always you have a plan A, but unfortunately there could be plan B, C, D. As long as you know the goal, you're going to get there. So the best advice I would give is be open to change, because if you're not open to change, you're going to be completely done for within your career.
Sometimes in business, things that they don't go in our way. And in those times, in times of challenges and hardship, how to stay motivated and inspired?
I think every challenge, for example, now we're dealing with AI and people are worried about jobs and so forth. Every challenge creates opportunities, in my opinion. The only way to stay motivated is to know that if there's a change, or if there's problems within the industry, there's somewhere else the opportunity is starting. So going back to what I was saying before in terms of pivoting, if you are ready to pivot, if you know that pivoting is going to make the big difference. This is where the visionary concept, the visionary mindset comes in. In a stressful time when things are changing, there's another door that's opening. And you just have to be one step ahead of that door, and you have to have your ears on the ground. You cannot be blinded by saying, you know what, this is what I've been doing for the last 15 years, and this is what I'm going to be doing the last 15 years. It doesn't work that way.
What are your biggest interests outside of work?
I traveled to 44 countries. I love traveling. I'm actually mentoring a travel company right now. And they're in the jet lag world. It's called Uplift. So I just love traveling, and I enjoy going to different places, eating different food and meeting new people.
I love it. Well, is there a book, a show, a movie that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
Well, the book that I will recommend, because I'm a very spiritual person, is The Secret. Rhonda Burns. I'm sure you know this book. It's Thought Becomes Things, the Law of Attraction. Law of Attraction plays a big role in my life. I've been very, very lucky and fortunate that I was able to come to this country and started from nothing. I was very fortunate that I was able to speak at conferences when I was a 19-year-old kid, in college. And I think that particular book really opened my eyes in terms of, obviously that book was not written at that time. I discovered later on. But the things that were written in that, I was already practicing it when I was a very young man. So that book taught me about, good energy, good vibration attracts people. Happy people attract happiness, not other way around, that you look for happiness and you become happy.
Yes, you need to surround yourself with happy people.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yes, that's a great approach. And positivity is contagious. So when you have these positive people around you, you're in their world, right? The positivity. So that definitely helps.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, what is the best career advice and the worst career advice that you ever received?
The best career advice is, there is no such thing as I'm too old for something. That is the best career advice. You can start a company tomorrow. If you're 55, you can start a company, you're 21, and you just got out of college. It is about timing. It is about skill set. It is about how much risk you can take. And the other one, I know you asked for one, the other one is tolerance.
Yes. Oh, yes.
If you want to be successful, you have to be tolerant to diversity and adversity, right? So if things are not going well, like we are talking about, and you give up as soon as you stop, you give up, right? And the company goes nowhere. So this is when you have to have the tolerance that how long can I stick around for things to get better, and that's very important. The worst is go get a job.
Well, in this podcast episode, so this is our 117 episode today in the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Is there any question that you expected me to ask you, but I haven't, or I didn't ask you?
You pretty much asked all the questions, but if there's one thing that I would say to young people, right? And young people, I mentor a lot of different founders and so forth. One of the things is that be realistic. If you think it's going to take 12 months, expect 24 months. And that's, going back to being patient and tolerant, it's very, very important. I see a lot of founders, they give up too early and they're unrealistic. They have $1 billion idea with $500 in their bank account, and they think they're going to just go viral tomorrow with a video. It may happen, but 9 out of 10 times it may not happen. So what is your plan B to, if you really believe in something, then you have to figure out, can I survive for 24 months without a paycheck?
So in the podcast, we have a new tradition that we started earlier. So we have a question from our previous guest, and previous guest asking you, are you happy in your current business?
Well, I'll tell you, happiness is very subjective. right? And as a business owner, you always go through that happy, unhappy mind, uh, happy and unhappy time. Uh, in my opinion, right now I'm happy because I'm seeing a lot of opportunity. But if you asked me 12 months ago, I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because things are moving so fast, right? So uncertainty makes you unhappy. Hopefulness makes you happy. So at this time, I'm very happy that I'm very hopeful that things are going to change for better, because the last 12 months we really adapted to new things. I think a lot of companies have, and pivoted because we had to.
And what question would you like me to ask to our next guest in the American Business Podcast?
Sure. If you had to do it all over again, would you do it again?
Okay, we'll make sure to ask that question. And to our listeners and viewers, if you like to get the answer of this question, stick around and we'll make sure to ask this question in the next episode. What is your career advice for the next generation business professionals?
Business is hard. I know I said the worst advice was get a job, but some people are not ready to be a business leader, right? Some people are not ready to go through that 4 o'clock in the morning. Your heart is burning because you don't know where the next payroll is going to be made from. So not everybody is equipped to be a business person. So, know that your journey, your overnight success could take 10 years. So my advice is absolutely be ready that this is the journey you want to take, because it's a very lonely journey and it's a very difficult journey. And very, very few people become successful because they don't take no for an answer.
Well, as we are coming into the new year, what are your expectations from the new year and any predictions for 2026?
Well, we're going to see a lot of AI, usage. Unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of layoffs because people are not going to want to adapt to AI and they're going to lose their jobs. I think companies are going to become a lot more smarter. They're going to want to use AI and reduce cost, as I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. So you have to pivot to that. And I think that my prediction is that a lot more people are going to be able to take advantage of that and do double the amount of work. And a lot more companies are going to expect that you do double the amount of work for the same salary.
Well, in the American Business Podcast, do you have any questions you would like to ask me?
Yeah, so you have been speaking to a lot of business owners. What are the patterns you have seen in the last 24 months, especially companies that are struggling?
Yes, so that's a great question, and to your point, yes, I'm learning a lot from business leaders. I mean, I wasn't expecting this much of massive, great information. Honestly, I was expecting pieces, but this is just gold. So just to summarize in general, so well, those who really made it or who is really doing well, they are great leaders. That's what I'm seeing so far. So those companies, they don't have a great leader, or those entrepreneurs or business owners who are not great leaders, they are not doing great. That's what I'm seeing. So also, to just like you addressed earlier in terms of leadership, like the humility, being kind, being open-minded, and constantly learning. Keeping the open mind, learning in some form, from books, from movies, from others, but just keeping the open mind. I think those who just keep that open mind and think of them as a student, no matter how old they keep learning and they keep taking their company to the next stage. That's what I'm seeing. And this is not easy. I'm just summarizing here with just a couple of sentences and words, but this is a lot of work, and that's a massive mind shift change that they need to have. Sometimes I need meet with business professionals, not in the podcast, but in general networking, for example. They say they don't want to learn new things. Well, that moment you're out of business already. This is just a matter of time when it's gonna be. But you just close your mind, your ears, your eyes to new things, and you don't want to learn. That's pretty much the end of it. When it's going to be really end is just a matter of time. But this is a better example. And sometimes we learn from bad examples, not always the good examples. So you see what not to do and you don't do it. And then, it helps you. So in that sense, it's that's why we created the American Business Podcast. We have been around less than a year. I mean, you asked me the question for the last 24 months, but we haven't been around for 24 months as a business podcast. It's been 10 months, I must say. So, but this is our 117 episode, so we are learning a lot of things. And the good thing is there are great leaders in the American business, and such as yourself. I mean, I can tell from the insights and your professional wisdom is really enlightening. And these journeys, these lessons, these stories that we are learning from American businesses is really important that we learn from them, we understand, and we apply in our businesses, whether as a business professional or an executive or an entrepreneur. These are great information that we need to address. And most of these lessons are coming from small and mid-sized companies, not necessarily Fortune 500. That's what I'm seeing too in my experience so far. It is because there are millions of small businesses in US, and that's the backbone of US economy.
Yes.
So that's the long answer, longer than I was supposed to, but there is a lot to talk about. But you asked a really great question. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's very impressive that in 10 months you were able to collect so many individuals to come and talk to you. I mean, that's a privilege, in my opinion. I mean, I am envious that you are now connected with so many different people. Don't be shy if I send you a message, in the near future, Kevin.
Anytime.
Introduce me to this business leader.
Absolutely. That's actually our goal. This is a community that we are building. That's this American Business Podcast. That's a community, and these connections are important. And just like yourself, any business owner or a business professional come to these podcasts has a certain set of mindset. That's what I have been seeing. They all like to learn, connect, improve themselves, continuous improvement. So absolutely, I definitely welcome anytime. Let's stay in touch. And we can have a separate conversation as well. And I'd love to definitely stay in touch and cooperate. This is really important. And that's part of our mission too in the American Business Podcast.
Great. No problem, Kevin. I really am privileged that I was able to talk with you. A very good insight. And I hope my conversation helped at least one individual who will be listening. And you're doing a great job, Kevin. Thank you so much for inviting me to have this conversation today.
Of course, that's my pleasure. I'm humbled. And before we end the episode, would you like to tell us about your contact information? Those who like to continue this conversation, who like to be in touch with you, what would be the best way?
Absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, but you can also find me on our website, synergyconsulting.us. And I will be happy to talk to anyone who needs any help on social media automation, AI automation, and so forth.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. We truly appreciate the sharing of your professional insights and wisdom with us today.
No problem. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you. I wish you and your family a happy holiday season and happy New Year.
You too. Thank you.
And looking forward to being in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Well, to our audience and to our listeners, we'll be right back after a short break. Thank you. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the #1 source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products, and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone is bringing you foreign languages. Learn from the experts, choose your plan to get started, sign up today. New Year is coming, and if your New Year resolution is learning a foreign language, Rosetta Stone is the choice for you. Rosetta Stone is offering you a long list of foreign languages: French, Italian, German, Chinese, Greek, Turkish, Polish, Portuguese, Vietnamese, and many more languages are available for you to get started today. Scan the QR code on the screen and sign up for Rosetta Stone and enjoy the learning experience of foreign language. Thank you very much. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Gemini Trust. Gemini makes crypto simple. Find, trade, and buy over 70 different coins, including Bitcoin and Solana, on the best cryptocurrency platform. Gemini Trust. Start trading crypto here. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and start signing up today. Because they have a great customer service, you can reach out to them and get assistance 24/7. Scan the QR code and start trading crypto on Gemini. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Office Virtual Offices. Office is offering you more than 600 different locations in the US. It is $99 a month. This includes prestigious business address, professional live call answering, personalized call transferring, business phone number, local phone number, professional mail services, voicemail converted to email. I have the QR code on the screen. You can sign up for Office today. Office is offering you hundreds of locations in the US that you can pick, any of them that you like, and you can start having your virtual office today. Please scan the QR code and start using Office Virtual Offices today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta watches. Invicta watches are known for their stylish design for men, women, as well as for unisex watches. When you scan the QR code on the screen, it will take to their online store and you can start shopping right away. When you go to the Invicta store website, you'll see watches in different collections for men, for women, different colors, different designs, as well as different sizes. There are hundreds of watches that you can see and you can pick from. Because it's end of the year, you'll also enjoy the benefits of their end of the year promotions and discounts. True story, I'm an Invicta fan. I've been using Invicta for many years. I have more than 10 Invicta watches in my wardrobe. This is one of them that I like. The style is pretty cool. I use these pretty much weekly basis. I have another one that I use on my wrist. This one is pretty cool. This one is called Shutter. I can change the face just by turning the buttons, and I can have different style of watches pretty much every day. Because it's pretty business looking, I can actually wear this with my business outfit as well. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. I'm sure you'll like Invicta watches. They have great styles and different colors as well as different technologies such as quartz, mechanical, automatic, and other watches are also available for your liking and for your choice. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. Thank you very much for your support. Support for the show comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Beckert. Anywhere Apps are business software products designed for small and mid-sized organizations. They are ready to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I like to promote Asset Management Anywhere. Asset Management Anywhere is a CMMS software system. CMMS stands for Computerized Machine Maintenance Management System. It is designed to help you manage your assets. Your assets may be your machinery, equipment, your buildings, trucks. You can register all of them on Asset Management Anywhere. Asset Management Anywhere comes with unlimited asset management capabilities. There is no limit, there is no upcharge. Moreover, you can perform your break and fix, preventive and predictive machine maintenance management operations on Asset Management Anywhere. If you have a fleet of trucks, you can also manage maintenance operations on Asset Management Anywhere. If you are performing facility management for plumbing, electrical, and other facility management needs, you'll also enjoy the benefits of Asset Management Anywhere. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code to learn more about Asset Management Anywhere and Anywhere apps in general. There is more. I have a direct email for you. You can send me an email at kevin@kirkconsulting.com to ask your questions, also to schedule a demo, and I'll be happy to coordinate it with Team Anywhere apps to show you the systems as well as address your questions. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I hope you enjoy Anywhere apps. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I learned a lot. I hope you also learned something new today in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest, please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We also welcome advertisers and sponsorship from companies and organizations. If you'd like to promote your company, your products and services, and advertise in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being with me in the American Business Podcast. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the coming American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you very much. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin D, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 123. This is our fifth season, and that's our second episode in New Year in 2026. Today is January 6, 2026. Code of the day. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and we share the code of the day with you. Today's code is: who you are is defined by what you are willing to struggle for. And today's number is 280 billion. Annually, that's how much is spent in US on mental health and substance use. $280 billion. All right, so we have a great guest, and I'm very excited to welcome our guest. Before we get started, one announcement. Well, as you know, the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business, is growing really fast. And we are also expanding our business community, of course, with your help and support. We truly appreciate it. In the meantime, we are also supporting businesses, as you know. One of our mission in the American Business Podcast is to support, promote, and uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and the American business community. In this sense, our new service is podcasting as a service. Now you can have your own branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast Network. And you can promote your brand, your product, and your service within the American Business Podcast. And you can be in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and listeners instantly. This is a new service that I'm proud to share with you. And we already have great organizations starting to use this service. And with this, we'll help businesses to grow through the podcasting, and they'll enjoy the benefits of the American Business Podcast expertise in business podcasting field. So I just want to share this with you. If you're interested, please send us an email, PAAS, as in podcasting as a service, at americanpodcast.tv. That's the website. That's the email address that you can get in touch with us for business podcasting as a service with the American Business Podcast. All right, great. Let's invite our guest to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for being with us today. Well, today is our second episode in New Year in 2026. So I'm excited to have you in the American Business Podcast, and it's very nice to meet you today.
You as well.
I hope you had a nice holiday season.
I did. It was nice and restful, quiet, just the way I like it. How about you?
That was actually pretty good. A lot of family time, quality time. So I'm really grateful. So that was a special time for me with my loved ones, and that was really good. Now we are back from the holiday season, energized in the American Business Podcast, and we have a lot to share and create for our business communities in the American Business Podcast. So we are absolutely fired up and motivated.
Very nice.
How was 2025 for you? Any reflections on the previous year?
Yes, 2025 was expensive. Lots of investments, but these are things that will be paying off for me very well in 2026. I'm never, as a business owner, never afraid to invest in myself or my business. So 2025 was a testament to that.
That's really exciting. Hopefully 2026 will be even better.
Yes.
For all of us. That's our hope, and we're gonna work for it. Well, let's get started if that's okay. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our viewers and to our listeners?
Sure. Thank you. I'm Kimberly Mitchell. I am the owner of Ujuzi, the training and AI agent agency. I'm also an author to the Mirror Method on Amazon. I am the inventor of Zora /Anthem bra and the creator of the Ignite brand of products, including Journey to Joy and the True course, where we work on challenging the beliefs that we hold for ourselves.
I understand you're also a veteran.
I definitely am a veteran. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Thank you for your service. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we also welcome authors in the American Business Podcast. So we love to, learn more about your book and a little bit of insights about your book as well in this interview, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Would you please tell us about your career journey a little bit? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Oh, wow. Yes. So my journey started in the military, as we just spoke about. I went in as right out of high school, but I went in as a vehicle mechanic. Now, what am I going to do with that after 4 years? I had no idea. So when I got out, I had to pretty much reinvent myself, start from scratch. And I got into the corporate world and spent 25 years just in the training industry in the corporate arena. Through that, I got exposure to small businesses and worked for a small startup for some time that grew very, very large. They're still around right now, an aerial photography company. But that experience allowed me to really understand and experience what it takes to build a small business, and I was hooked. So I started my small business on the side with an event rental business. That was um, that was an experience, I'll say. And then COVID came, and that was a convenient way to exit out of that business and really get into the training business, which is really where my heart lies, and working with other micro enterprises and small entrepreneurs. So that's really where I've started building that business, and it's really taken off and done well. While that was going, I also was toying with a bra, and and for years I had been wanting to do something different with that and reimagine what existed already. So this 2025 is when I was able to start really getting serious about that. And we are soon to be going into our provisional patent within the next couple of weeks. Very excited about that. But
Yes.
probably one of the bigger endeavors for me has been the Ignite brand of products, because while I was building that business, while I was doing all that work, and when I was working in the corporate world, these were not small contracts. I worked with the 2010 census. I worked with the Department of Finance for the government, working with very large corporations that did huge projects that should have been more gratifying for me than they were. But I realized that I was battling myself in a sense. And that led me to really start seeking a process, seeking a solution to this depletion that I was feeling despite the successes that I achieved. And that's what led me to the Ignite brand of products, which really talks about the beliefs we hold about ourselves and how those beliefs turn into choices. Those choices turn into the reflection of the life that we live.
How is your day-to-day work experience? What are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on daily basis?
Oh, well, I will say when you have all of those endeavors going on simultaneously, the day to day is a little crazy. I will say that I spend most of my day on the computer. I am probably 12 hours out of a day in one spot, but on that computer. Sometimes it is searching for information for the bra. Sometimes it is coming up with marketing material for the Ignite brand of products, getting the website, the language right on the website. And sometimes it is really researching and watching YouTube and video after video on AI and AI agents and all that's going on in the AI world. So it's a varied day all day long.
Well, we love to hear about your AI in a minute. It's coming up. So, what is your vision for your company, for your company's future?
Oh, wow. My vision for the company is to really help people understand the importance of that self-inflection and how it plays out both in your personal life and your professional life, most specifically if you're a business owner, because we have full access as when we get into the workforce, full access to our supervisors, our peers, but very rarely do we get to understand what the owner's day is like. And the result of that is many of us step out and start our businesses pretty much like a supervisor who is still an employee. So we have that employee mindset, and we're really focused on the function of the business, the deliverable of the business, as opposed to the administration, just because we just don't know. We didn't have access to what that looked like. And understanding how we have to rewind the tape and go back and really get to the core of what we believe about ourselves. Do we believe we're business owners? Do we believe we have the capacity to build a sustainable business that employs people, that brings in several thousands of dollars, that helps you live your dreams and feed your families and do all the things you dreamed of doing when you started your business? It starts in the mind.
When you think about your company and the fields that you are in, um, what are the biggest challenges facing the organization, you will say?
Ah, so many. Because when you're talking about the bra, just inventing is a challenge. It's really something that you don't really have access to the process, even though it's spelled out, so to speak, on the patent office website. It's really not. It's really not something that you can decipher and digest into how this really works. So navigating that whole process is a challenge. When you're talking about being a female owner, a Black female owner, building these businesses from scratch, and all of the ways that marketing change, algorithms change, all the things that are going on, just keeping up with all of that, those are challenges. As well as we go back to saying that self-care, making sure that you are really taking care of you as the foundation, because if your health isn't where it needs to be, if your mindset isn't where it needs to be, if you're not really tuned into who you are and what you need, then nothing goes forward. That everything you do in your business will be a challenge.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great insight. Well, let's talk about the state of entrepreneurship a little bit. You touched it a little bit actually, but if we can expand on it. So there are many entrepreneurs. There are many future entrepreneurs. They like to get into market. They like to start their own business. They like to have the freedom when the time comes. So how do you see the state of entrepreneurship in US nowadays? Any challenges, opportunities based on your observation in general?
Oh my, yes. I will say that now is probably one of the best times ever to be an entrepreneur. The technology is allowing us to do things and operate at a level that we would have needed significant resources to be able to do before. When we look at the AI revolution and what that's bringing to a small early stage entrepreneur, that they can, out of the gate, they can have lead generation in place, they can have customer support in place, they can have sales support in place, they can have all of this technology that's built right into the business from day one. It is exciting.
Yes, yes, a lot of resources,
Mhm.
and you just talk about technology. So I think it's time to talk about AI now. How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays, based on your experience and observation?
I think that it is going to allow some of the smaller businesses to rise in such a way that they are able to compete at a level that they never would have been able to otherwise. Just being able to have the back and forth, as you use AI as a collaborator, as a silent business partner, that alone will unlock a level of success for some business owners that they would never have been able to do otherwise. But when you also talk about, especially the early stage entrepreneur who can build that technology in to kind of bring up the rear and fill in the gaps where they may be lacking, they may not have the skill, and say typing. If you have a business owner who really is not great with typing, you can have AI create documents that are pitch perfect that you don't ever have to worry about, and being able to engage with your own customers at a level that kind of brings you up, then it's really amazing, an amazing time to be a business owner.
Yes, and you position AI as a silent partner. That's also an interesting point, and it makes a lot of sense in a way,
Mhm.
because we can utilize it in so many ways to further our businesses, to be more productive,
Yes.
and produce quicker than we usually normally do. It's because it makes things much easier, quicker, in that sense. So that's really advantageous for organizations.
Yes.
Um, so you are a business owner and an entrepreneur, and you have years of experience. Um, how to survive uncertainty and crisis in business based on your experience?
Well, my philosophy has always been, I can't control out there, I can control in here. So the way to navigate around that chaos and uncertainty is by being certain who you are and focusing on your own authenticity. When you look at how businesses operate on a fundamental level, you are filling a gap in the marketplace that is addressing a need that the marketplace has told you exists. And if you're able to speak authentically about that solution and able to speak authentically to your customers, your business will survive all of the other uncertainty. But that really comes back to really understanding who you are and what you bring to the table when you're talking about opening a business.
And based on your experience so far, what are the best marketing practices for the highest ROI nowadays?
Again, that go back to authenticity. When no matter what channel that you're on, if you're chasing trends, if you're out here doing things that don't feel authentic to you or your business, if you haven't set up the brand for your business and you haven't really established who you are, you're just out here, then none of the marketing tools are going to be successful for you. You really have to center it on, it sounds a little egocentric, but business is really, it starts with you and everything springs forth from you. So when you really take the moment to understand what you want to say, who you want to say it to, and what represents your business and your brand, then it won't even matter which marketing tool you use. They'll all work.
Yes, I love your approach. So during our first episode in 2026, yesterday, we had a similar conversation, and just to support your point, actually, the channels that we utilize, say email or social media, others, we can utilize them. But the core thing is, what is our company doing? What are our values? How we position ourselves as an organization? So these fundamentals, just like you mentioned, once they set in place, once you position your organization right where they're supposed to be, which you can pivot later on as the market
Yes.
is evolving and changing, then the rest of the channels, social media, email, SMS, text messages, and so on, will follow.
That's right.
That is actually the fundamental practice, and I'm happy to hear that from you, because there is always a confusion in the market, right? So when you talk about marketing, they mix it with sales, they mix it with advertising, they mix it with all different things. But fundamentally, it just starts with just what you just mentioned: who you are as an organization, your values,
Mhm.
your positioning, what makes you different. That is marketing 101 in a way.
That's
But
it.
many people confused about it. So this is a great way to clarify it in the American Business Podcast.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, how would you define leadership from your point of view? And what are the great leadership qualities a great leader must have?
Oh, wow. So, leadership I would define leadership as support. When you are the leader in the group, it's really your job to support them in being the best they can be in their roles. And in order to do that, I like to say you have to have joy as a baseline, which is very counterintuitive when you think of the soft, mushy joy feeling versus the leadership and the strong positioning that that role has. But when you are joyful, when you have figured out what brings you joy, then you then are going to support your team in helping them discover the same things. So if you think about it like this, if you have something that needs to be done that everybody hates to do, moving the boxes or getting out and cold calling, which is very nerve wracking for some folks, but you're able to understand where the joy is both in yourself and in your teammates, then you're able to speak to your customers on a whole different level. You start to assume that your customers want to experience that same joy that you are experiencing. And then, therefore, you're able to bring that into the fold on a whole circular level, that you have that established, your teammates have that established, your customers have it established. And it is really at the center of all that you're doing, which is very challenging for some people to really conceptualize how joy and because joy is such a woo concept, but really, joy is that constant state. The happiness is the fluctuating piece, but the joy is that constant state. And when you are centered on that, that really gives you a different lens through which you operate your business and the way you interact with your team.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career perspective over the years?
Yes, I would say there were two role models that really impacted me. One was my very first boss. He was very I don't necessarily want to say eccentric. He was brilliant, and people were always seeking answers. But his style was very much, I want to help you and support you in finding your answers versus me telling you the answer. So he created an environment where everyone was able to flourish and grow at their pace, at their own pace, and really expand beyond the boundaries of what they thought they could ever do. And then the second was my last boss, actually, and he operated in very much a land of possibilities. So his first response is always yes. How do we get to yes? And once we can get to yes, then the possibilities are expanded exponentially. So those two points of view have always kind of shaped the way I operate in my business.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
Okay, the lesson that that I learned that probably was the hardest is don't take it personal. Business is not personal. And when you are taking your customers' no as a personal rejection, it gets in the way of how you're able to serve them. And when you're working with your team and as a business owner, and you don't know how to say no when the answer needs to be no because you are attached to how they're going to feel about you, then that also gets into the way of how you're going to be able to operate with your team. So that was a challenge. That was a lesson that I had to learn early on is don't take it personal. You have to really elevate above all of that and look at what's best for the business.
Yes, I love the way you explain it. It's actually
Mhm.
very, very, very insightful. Um, well, sometimes in business, things they don't go in our way. Sometimes there are challenges. So, how to stay motivated and inspired in times of challenges in business?
I'm going to go right back to that joy. When you have that as your baseline, then you understand that things are going to go left, things are going to go right, but however they go, you're able to adapt and adjust as necessary. I've had many, especially in 2025, as I am reaching out and trying to build and expand and do different things. Many no's, many rejections, many no thank yous, many things that I thought were going to go great that did not go great. But at the end of the day, those are all lessons. Those are all things that will shape my 2026. And if you believe that these things happen for you instead of to you, then that really puts a different perspective on it. And you're able to utilize the lessons to move forward in the business.
What is your biggest interest outside of work?
My biggest interest outside of work, that's such a tough one just because my work and my play overlap, because I'm a
I'm sure,
huge
yes.
lover of technology.
Mhm.
So whenever I'm not technically working, I'm still doing something on this computer.
Yes,
Still.
it makes sense. Absolutely. Actually, we keep talking about life work balance, which is I can't say I practice it myself, uh, but I actually was. This podcast is also I see it as my school. I'm learning from you. I'm also learning from other professionals. That's a great resource, the best one so far in my life. So last year in one of our episodes, one of our guests actually he described it as life work integration. I was like, that is the
Mm.
term that I've been looking for. That's the integration. Yes. So to your point, so when you own a business, um, then it becomes a part of your life. So even though that's what I'm understanding from your description as well. So even though you're not doing the work, you are thinking about the work, even if it's a weekend or if after hours and so on. That's also what I understand from your
Oh,
answer.
absolutely. Because when you think about it, the business is an outgrowth of you. It's birthed almost by you physically. Like I feel like I just shot
It
this
is
out
you.
into the world,
It is
right?
you, right?
It's
It is you.
you.
Yeah, that's
So
it. Yes.
even when the clock turns off, you're still you. You're still doing the things that brought you to the place that you started that business. So it's integration is a perfect word.
Yes, yes. I love it. Well, if you have a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
If I could go back to any time, I'm a Gen Xer. I would immediately go back to the 80s. love I love the 80s. Everything about it. The fashion, the music, the so creative. Everything was so accepting. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted to do and it was all right in the 80s. I loved it.
Is there a book, a show, a movie that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
Oh, over the years, I would say that the book that shaped my career over the years is The Goal. I really enjoyed that book. And the movie would be The Founder, the story of Ray Kroc, because I'm a late bloomer when it comes to business and especially this level of business. And so it was very good to see Ray Kroc started at 55. And so that hearing that and watching that story and watching his grind was very inspirational to me.
It's never too late.
That's right.
Never too late. That's the lesson. Very motivational.
Mm.
Well, what is the best career business advice that you ever received, and what is the worst career advice that you ever received?
Ooh, I would say, let me
Which one you gotta
start
go for first? Yes, which one?
the worst.
First, okay, let's go on first.
The worst business advice I ever received was that I should not pay attention to computers because they are not going to be around for very long. Very few people are going to
That
want
is
to
the
use.
worst, that's for sure. Yes.
I still remember that to this day.
And the best one you will say?
Oh, the best advice that I got was to never stop learning. And we have a school here called School Without Walls, and that's the framework that they use to say, don't confine your learning to a classroom. Be able to learn everywhere and anywhere. And I've taken that with me throughout my whole career and my whole life, actually.
Is there a question that you had been expecting me to ask you, but I didn't ask you?
Yeah, I would have expected you to ask me what made me go into the military as a vehicle mechanic.
Okay. Yes. Would you please tell us what made you go to the military as a mechanic? And so when we say mechanic, can you just expand on it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I was working on 2.5-ton trucks and 5-ton trucks, and I was taking them apart, working in the engine,
Oh,
doing
wow.
maintenance on them,
That's
all
quite
of
a work.
those. Yeah.
Amazing.
What was even more curious is that the entire time I was in the military, I did not know how to drive.
Wow. So you didn't know how to drive, but you knew how to fix them. Is that what you're saying? Oh, wow.
Yes, and I went in there just as a measure of rebellion. My mother wanted me to go to college and be a writer, and I wanted to be rebellious and say I'm going to go in the military as a mechanic. And at the
Wow.
end of the 4 years, she's standing at the door going, "How'd that work out for you?" Because here you are out of the military, probably not going to be a mechanic.
Wow, that's very interesting. Well, so you are also an inventor, you mentioned, right?
Yes.
So, well, you are the second inventor in the American Business Podcast, just so you know.
Ah,
So we had one, Lisa Escolisi from New Jersey, based in New Jersey. So she was very generous to share her insights and professional wisdom with us. And second time we are talking about inventing,
mhm.
and you're our second inventor in the
Nice.
American Business Podcast. Yes. So what motivates you to invent things, find solutions? I must say, how would you describe it?
It's actually just like any other business when you think about it. S- Being an inventor is about filling a need. You're just, instead of iterating something that already exists, you're creating something brand new from scratch, which is similar to what we do with our businesses. We see a need and we create a business to fill that need. And that's the way I approach this invention, because it is something that I live with every day. And so it really became a mindset issue for years to say, "Mm, surely someone else has thought about this. Surely there's a reason that this doesn't exist already. There's a reason why we're suffering the way we are with these poorly designed bras." Until I finally said, you can be instead of looking for someone else to solve this problem, you can solve it. And then I said, why not me? That's what I do. And that's how it started.
You're also an author.
Yes,
Can you tell us about your book a little bit?
absolutely. The book is Hey Beautiful, The Mirror Method. And it is born from listening to primarily women really tear themselves down in the mirror. We get all dressed up and get ready to go to work, and we stop at the mirror and all we see are flaws. Oh, my hair, oh, my face, oh, my makeup. Oh, it's just terrible. And then we walk out with covered in self-inflicted wounds trying to get through the day. When I'm saying our voice needs to be the most loving voice that we hear every single day. And so the book is really stepping you through a process where you retrain yourself, retrain your voice to when you look in that mirror, you can do nothing but support yourself. And the difference it makes in how you interact with the rest of the world is incredible.
Yes, sounds like a very inspirational book, very motivational as well.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, in the American Business Podcast, we love authors, published authors. We love books. It is because books are very educational. We learn from them. And I also have a lot of respect to authors because I know it takes hard work to put the book together. It's a lot of work, a lot of insights. It also shows your generosity. You are also sharing your insights with others. So in that sense, we always welcome talking about books in the
Great.
American Business Podcast.
Oh,
So we
that's
came to the right
fantastic.
place. All right, sounds good. Well, we have a tradition in the American Business Podcast. And so I have a question for you coming from our previous guest. And after that, I'll ask you to leave me a question for our coming guest.
Okay.
So the question from the previous guest is, what are you planning to do in 2026 in your company to be authentic?
Ooh. Let me see, because I think I'm always striving to be authentic in my business. But in 2026, I probably will be my most authentic by expressing myself across all three seemingly very different endeavors, but all from a foundational level are solving a problem, and solving a problem by bringing something to life that probably doesn't already exist today. So my authenticity will show in my solutions or through my solutions.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, I really appreciate this variety and depth that you just mentioned. Um, it is because it actually you actually create more value for community and for your business as well in general. So in that sense, it is actually very beneficial for the business community as well as the market. So this is really inspiring. What question would you like to leave with me for our next guest?
Okay, for the next guest, I would say to think of the most challenging issue you're dealing with on a personal level and identify what it is you must believe about yourself in order for this to be an issue for you.
Okay, we'll make sure to ask that in the next American Business Podcast episode. Appreciate it. What is your advice for the next generation business professionals?
Start. Don't hide. This is a very different time frame. Social media has brought a different slant than what I grew up with in terms of exposure and the safety around being exposed. But when you are talking about expression and you're talking about the joy that comes from being authentic, the feeling that you get when you are not switching and code switching from one persona to another, you can't put a price tag on that. So don't let this fear of visibility cause you to stand behind what you really are meant to bring into the world.
Well, do you have any question that you would like to ask me in the American Business Podcast?
Yes, I would. I would love to know what the gap in the marketplace was that you saw that you wanted to fill with this podcast.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Well, so we started last year, February 28th. So it hasn't been a year yet. And so within these 10 months, we have more than 1 million views on YouTube. We have more than 100,000 subscribers. So it shows we are doing something right. So what made us start it was I actually have been I had been watching podcasts, especially business podcasts, for a long time, and I couldn't find that truly educational, informative business podcast. So either they are so niche, focus on just one piece of the business, let's say real estate or e-commerce or some part of it. Or they are too political. So you cannot just learn. They cannot just stop being political without sharing the insights. So you can't really learn anything. All you hear is about politics. So I've been just seeing these productions, and I felt the need myself, and I saw the need in the market, the gap, and I said, hey, I should just do it. I just fill the gap. I'll just address this, and that's how it was born. And from day one, it's always been educational. The American Business Podcast, always informative, and we also add the live first. So 99% of our episodes are live, no polishing, no editing. We are who we are, and that's how we are. That's how we are in front of our audience. Very authentic, and non-political.
Mm-hmm.
So we are talking about ideas. We are talking about business. Politics is out of these podcasts, and that is how it has been running for 10 months. And the need to have these informative podcast that actually started the podcast, American Business Podcast.
That is fantastic, and congratulations on such a success.
I
That's
appreciate
amazing.
it. Yes, thank you. So from day one, we also added one more mission, in addition to being educational and informative in terms of content, and that is we support, we promote, and we uplift American businesses, nonprofits, manufacturers, and business community. So that is the expansion of it for 2026, which makes a lot of sense. So we'll keep working on it, and we have a lot of work to do, a lot of episodes to create to fulfill this mission.
Well, you're doing a great job. I'm
I appreciate
loving
it.
it. So
Well,
thank you.
with you and our audience together, we are creating it all together, day by day, episode by episode, just like knitting, right? You knit it just like that, just piece by piece. So it's coming together. So this is a community right now. That's how we are seeing the American Business Podcast.
Mhm.
It's more than a podcast. We are a community that we learn, we support each other, we uplift each other, and we create this positive learning environment, continuous improvement all the time as professionals.
Beautiful.
So that's where we are going.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, for those who like to continue this conversation with you, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you, learn about your organizations, companies, and get in touch with you?
Sure. You can reach me at kimm.co, kim.co. That's the website. Or on socials, I'm KIMMDOTCO. So kim.co on socials.
Kimberly, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. Thank you for being so generous to share your professional insight and your professional wisdom with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a pure pleasure.
Pleasure is all mine, and hope to get in touch again in the American Business Podcast.
Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. And Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, we'll be right back after a quick break. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from YZ. At the American Business Podcast, we always talk about continuous improvement and professional development. That is why we partner with YZ. Trust the nation's largest network for tutoring. YZ helps you find the tutor that you need in many different subjects: chemistry, computer, foreign languages, geometry, English, music, physics, reading, SAT, science, and many more. I have the QR code on the screen that you can sign up and start searching for tutors and enjoy the learning experience and continuous improvement as we always talk about in the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up for YZ today. Thank you very much. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Becker. It is time to digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps designed for small and mid-sized companies as well as enterprise-level companies to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the Anywhere apps that's very popular in the US. It is called Nonprofit Management Anywhere. If you are a nonprofit and you like to manage your donations, volunteers, fundraising events, your grants, and other documents for compliance and operational purposes, consider Nonprofit Management Anywhere. It is a completely cloud service. You can start using it today with no need for local installation on your server or on your local laptop and computers. It is user-friendly and it's easy to deploy, and you can start using it today. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about Anywhere apps, including Nonprofit Management Anywhere. Well, there is more. If you'd like to talk to me directly about Anywhere apps, you can just send me an email directly, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Anywhere apps are modern, they are easy to use, they are affordable, practical, and more importantly, that's designed for you to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Scan the QR code or just send me a direct email, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta. Invicta is known for its stylish watches, both for men and women. Invicta is offering unisex watches as well. I have a confession. I am an Invicta fan and I've been using Invicta watches for many, many years. This one is 57mm Invicta watch, automatic. Because it's black color, it goes well with my business outfit. And because it's automatic, I don't need batteries for my watch. It gets the energy by me just moving the watch from my wrist. So it creates energy and it can go pretty much non-stop. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, you'll be able to see the Invicta watch collection. And you can pick the one that you like based on the color, style, and technology. Please scan the QR code, start shopping today, and join me using Invicta. I'm sure you'll like it. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. We also welcome sponsors and advertisers, companies, organizations, as well as nonprofits. You can send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. As I mentioned earlier, we started Business Podcast as a service offering. If you like to have your company branded podcast channel within the American Business Network, we are welcoming these conversations and you can send us an email. It is PAAS, podcast as a service, that's the acronym, at americanpodcast.tv. I also like to invite you to our website, americanpodcast.tv, to see our coming schedule, also to learn more about the American Business Podcast. Any developments, updates, we put it on our website and we keep it updated. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. I'm looking forward to having you in the next The American Business Podcast episode. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you very much. Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin D, your host, and welcoming you episode 124. We are in season 5 in the American Business Podcast. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Today's number $2.9 trillion. That's the US manufacturing industry contributing around $2.9 trillion to US GDP. And code of the day, as you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com. And today's code is: you become unstoppable when you work on things people cannot take away from you. Things like your mindset, your character, and personality. Well, as you know, last week we started our new service, Business Podcast as a Service, PAAS. Well, so far we got really great response from the market. We truly appreciate your help and support. If you are interested in starting your own business podcast within the American Business Network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. Our goal is to share our expertise with you, with your organization, to start your business podcast. And with your business podcast within the American Business Podcast Network, you'll have immediate, instant visibility in the American Business Podcast Network in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers and listeners. If you're interested, please send us an email, PAAS, as in podcast as a service, at americanpodcast.tv. Great. Let's invite our guests to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Martin. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me and welcome everyone here.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you for joining us. Where are you connecting from?
I am connecting out of Austria, so across the pond. From a very cold country. We currently have deep winter here, and looking forward to our conversation today.
Yes, same here. Thank you very much for being with us. It's very nice to meet you, and I'm really excited to have this conversation. I hope you had a nice holiday season and you had a great week so far.
Yes, so in Austria we tend to have Christmas holiday until the 6th of January. So and it's really the time of the year where also all business partners and everybody is taking some time off. So it's the best time to have a full rest and reset. And this year, I think I really had nobody in the family had some illness or whatever. So it was really good time to recharge all the batteries, and they are fully recharged now.
That's great. Yeah, knock on the wood. Yeah, it's going to be a great year. So we all keep the hopes high. And when you look at 2025, what would you say? What is your reflection on 2025 and looking into 2026?
I think for business owners, 2025 was really a hard year. I think complexity in general just became more. If you look at the whole macroeconomics that have changed, and especially for us coming from a hardware business that is at least has parts of its supply chain out of Asia, primarily distributing or manufacturing in Europe, and then distributing in Europe and now also in the US. So we are fully exposed to those risks and complexities. And of course, as an entrepreneur, your job is to navigate the landscape as good as possible. You cannot really influence it. So I think it became more challenging. But yeah, when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
That's right. That's right. Yes, hopefully it's going to be a great year for all of us, professionals and businesses in 2026. Well, let's dive into it and let's get the conversation started in more detail. As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our listeners and to our viewers?
Sure. So I'm Martin Panzi, Austrian and founder and CEO of Nuki. Nuki is a retrofit smart door lock. We are European market leader when it comes to retrofit access. So We are replacing your physical key, and with an app on your smartphone, you can install the device within 3 to 5 minutes. You don't need any additional tooling, no professional assistance, and so on. You can really do it on your own at home, and you're immediately good to go with your new digital key. And thereby, of course, making lives easier for millions of people, because we are in this phase in a transition over the next 10, 20 years where people will get rid of physical keys and more people will upgrade to digital keys. And that's also our mission, to make digital keys an everyday and common thing.
Yeah, this is very exciting. Sounds like a revolutionary product. And well, let's learn a little bit more about you in terms of your professional background, if that's okay. And then we can
Sure.
dive deeper into Nuki and your vision about the company. Would you please tell us about your career journey? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Yes, I think, well, I started out at university, and I have an economics background, so business degrees. And I really never had the strong idea of doing my own business. So I really stumbled into it. Also, back at that time, all my friends at university were going into consulting, investment banking, or some other corporate job. And that's also how I started out. But I think after an initial year where I was working for another Austrian company and was more or less traveling the world for this company, my brother actually approached me. My brother was he was the founder of Austria's most successful internet business at the end of the 90s and the early 2000s. And he asked me to join the company, which was, although he was my brother, it was never really my plan while I was at university. But then I started there, and somehow got infected by the virus of working for a small company where you really can see 360 degrees of the business. I think I really learned a lot in those first 2-3 years, because I could see the full size of a business. Was working very close also with my brother, who as a CEO, of course, also had the full view on it. And I think those early experiences were really very helpful for me. And I said, since then, I was caught on by the virus. And a few years later, we then decided to start our own business. And we sold the business that we were initially running. And with the funds that we got, we invested into creating new ideas. And what we always wanted to do is launch something out of Austria, which can be successful on a global stage. And this almost necessarily means that you have to focus on a niche business. But digitalization, of course, helps you to sell more or less worldwide. And I think Nuki exactly fits that pattern, because it's something that we are developing here in Austria with really skilled people, and then we are distributing almost globally. And Nuki is what I've been doing for the last 10 years now. That's more or less my history. So we did 2 or 3 businesses together, which were in the digital and software space. And then we had the crazy idea to reinvent keys, which also required hardware, making the business way more complex. And that's what I've been doing the last 10 years. So focused on making Nuki one of the leading access companies worldwide.
When you look at your day-to-day work, what are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on a daily basis?
Well, I really love my work, and I'm 350 days a year motivated to get to work. So I would almost say I like all of my work. I think for me is, of course, what I really like is there are certain periods during the year where you ask yourself more the directional questions. So where are we headed? Where should we go? And so on. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that I like the most. So where we're really setting the direction for the coming months. now is also a time where we are right into that, because always by the end of the year, when the new year starts, you are in this budgeting cycles and forecasting, and that's always where plans for the next year get finalized. And I really like that part where we are defining the road ahead. And that's something that I think also takes a large part of my overall time that I devote to the job.
What is your vision for the company's future?
Well, the vision is, so when you look at smart access or digital keys, in Europe today, it's roughly 4% of households that are using digital keys. In the US, it's already 10%. The US is always like 3 years ahead of Europe when it comes to the adoption of digital keys. And then there are projections how this will evolve over the future. And those projections are saying that I think in 10, 20 years from now, of course, this percentage will be at 40, 50%. And so the world is slowly transitioning into digital keys. And I always keep saying internally in meetings, we are now, for example, in Europe, European market leader. And it's nice if you're a market leader when the adoption is 4%, but it's way more important to be market leader when it's 20 or 30%, because the position is then much more valuable. And this is also my vision for Nuki. I want us to be the leading player for residential access in 10 or 20 years from now. And if we do that well, then I think we help actually people a lot, because we are making their lives easier. They don't need to worry about keys anymore. And doing that is really fun, because you immediately get the feedback from our customers that you're doing them something good, which is a really cool feeling.
Sounds like it's a growing market, so it has a lot of feature. That's what I'm hearing from you. How about challenges? What is the biggest challenge that you see in your industry facing your organization?
I think when we really take it from the digital lock perspective, then there is a product already out there, ours or competition, but smart locks as of today, they really have lots of values. There is no more rational reason why you go with a physical key. And people who vote for a smart lock, they're also happy with it. So if you look into reviews and measure customer satisfaction, people are happy. So the question is actually, okay, if now only 4 out of 100 have chosen one, a smart lock, how can I tell the story? How can I spread the product to the other 96? This is the biggest challenge, and this is also what will make the adoption grow faster or not so fast. And I think that's the most defining question that our industry is facing over the next 10 to 20 years.
Let's talk about the industry. So before we got started these episodes, so you and I, we were chatting and we talk about the industry a little bit. And actually, it's a lucky industry. And you just mentioned it's actually a pretty old industry fundamentally, right? So you are modernizing it. Can you tell us about the industry overall? What is the state of luck and security industry? How do you see the industry overall? And what are the opportunities that you are seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the industry, as you said, it's a very old industry. Locks are around since hundreds of years.
Wow, that's true.
And it's an industry that is more or less that made its fortune from bending iron. And now when we entered into this industry 10 years ago, we knew nothing about hardware. So it's completely new. We are coming from the software world and we are going into this very hardware intense industry. And I have to say, in hindsight now, 10 years ago, we had some business meetings where we were talking about things on the other side, which were leading industry players. They just completely didn't understand us because we were talking on different levels. And I think that is just very interesting. Therefore, the industry and its heritage is, of course, always the lock is here to make your home more safe. It's a lot about security. It's a lot about keeping the wrong people out. And when we go into that, we have a different approach. For us, it's about letting the right people in. as easy as possible and make it as comfortable for them as possible. And that is a totally different way to look at this business. It's not about making it more secure, making it more expensive, because somewhere here is a security feature that you most likely will never need. Yeah? But we're coming and we want to increase the comfort, your peace of mind, things that you can benefit from every day. Yeah? And that is a totally different approach. And of course, that's has impact on the product, but it also has an impact on how the product gets distributed, how the customer relationship is during and also after the purchase. So for example, traditional lock industry, most of the players don't even know their customers because it's not required. On Nuki, every Nuki customer is using the Nuki app, so we have a digital channel to our customers. We can have a dialogue and so on. And it's a completely different way of doing the business.
Yes, I mean, the more I listen to you, the more I understand. That's actually amazing. Because to your point, when I buy a regular lock, it's very transaction. I just buy and go, and there is no other communication going on with the vendor and customer between. And but from your point of view, that's a digital product. So there is a software part, there is a subscription part, there is a relationship management part. Maybe you also do some upsell, cross sell. It's gonna go to some other the dimensions, highly likely. So that's amazing. You are really revolutionizing that traditional industry. That's now I understand better. Yes.
It's a niche, but we are revolutionizing that niche. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, I like it. It's very exciting. Well, speaking of technology, let's talk about AI a little bit. How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, I think the impact of AI it's going to be massive, and I think we all have to transform. I think one shouldn't be afraid of AI and its potential implications, because if you adapt yourself, you will only become more valuable. And I really like the saying that you will not get replaced by AI, but you might get replaced by somebody who adopts AI better than you do. And this is more or less, I think, also how people should approach it. See it really as an opportunity to get more done, and just become better yourself or as a company. And that's in general, because I think AI will touch, if I look at our company, it goes across all the teams and all the functions, of course, because if I'm in customer support or in marketing or in product development, everybody can use AI. Then on the other side is, how will AI impact our product? And there I think it's still a long way until AI cannot replace our smart lock. So from that point of view, I think we are in a quite good position, because AI is not eating our business, because the need for the lock is still there. But with AI, we get a technology that helps us in making our job better, which will just make it easier and also hopefully more efficient. So for example, we are since several months looking into a project, making all the customer support AI assisted, automating stuff there and so on, and replacing human labor with AI. That's a big opportunity on that end. And that's what we are looking into. So I think in the end, for Nuki in general, it's a net positive, because it gives us more opportunity in our value generation, but doesn't devalue the product that we're selling.
Yes, absolutely. My background is also business software. So naturally, AI, especially just to support your point, AI agents coming in, and they're affordable, practical, and any size of business can actually utilize it nowadays. And what I'm hearing from you is actually a use case of it, that you are actually implementing it for customer service.
Yes,
that is great.
That is the largest use case we have internally. But as I said, we are also using it on, in marketing or so on. You use it on an everyday basis, because it's also it's a very, very good sparring partner for your ideas. And
That's true.
sometimes it's amazing with the kind of quality of the ideas that come from AI. And the little context it actually needs, because it already gets so much context from what has already been fed into the AI in the background. So I think if you just look at it as a sparring partner, it's a really good opportunity to learn. I just recently was actually in New York, and on my flight back, I bought a Wi-Fi on the plane, and I used 1 hour just to play around with Gemini in the end, and just throwing into ideas and getting feedback. It works really well on a plane because it doesn't require lots of data, because it's all text, and you can learn a lot in 1 hour if you
Wow.
use it the right way.
How to survive crisis and uncertainty in business based on your experience?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have quite a lot of experience with crisis, because when working on Nuki, in the past 5 years, we really went through several crises as a hardware business. Of course, all the COVID stuff, then the subsequent chip crisis and the issues around availability of chips. Then there were similar things on supply chain side also in 2025, where things were quite tense. Then also, as I said initially, the whole macroeconomic scenery getting harder. And those are all things that you cannot influence. So you have to accept it and build your business around it. At least for me, in coping with uncertainty, what I think is the most relevant part is that you are prepared, and being prepared for crisis means that you have scenarios in your head. So you plan and work with scenarios, because that also allows you that if there is a crisis, whatever crisis may come up, you know exactly, okay, those are the kind of things that I need to change in order to adapt as good as possible. And that's also what history has told us, and why, for example, in Nuki, we are working quite a lot with scenarios and so on, so that we are prepared in case things don't turn out as we expect.
Based on your experience, what are the best marketing practices that bring the highest ROI nowadays?
Well, looking at all my companies that I've been working on, the marketing practice with the best ROI is always word of mouth, because in the end, if done really well, it costs you close to zero, but it can bring you the upside opportunities almost endless. What we, I think, do by what I think by word of mouth is, for us, it's in the SaaS world, it's called product-led growth, more or less, which in consumer hardware is more or less, you build a great product that really delights customers. And then you just have to make sure that the distribution is there and that the delighted customers spread the word, and then it will work like a snowball and keep growing. That's also how we, for example, when we started out with Nuki, we actually started out on Kickstarter. So very early on, we had a small fellowship, and then we said, okay, this is our vision. That's what we want to do. If you think it's cool, then please share with others. If you want to get rid of keys, please also tell your best friends. If they also want to get rid of keys, then we are the solution. And this more or less created a snowball. And then we shipped a good product, and then the first customers were delighted. They passed it on, and so on. And we know from data that roughly one Nuki customer brings 2.5 more Nuki customers. And this is exactly this kind of snowball effect. And then there are marketing tactics, of course, how you can support it. Social media is a great helper on that end. Also, all the kind of review platforms that you have. If you do well on reviews, then you don't give people a reason, if you get something like this recommended, to say no. You need to make the purchase as easy as possible. And that's, for me, definitely word of mouth, viral growth, and this done really well, it's unbeatable in terms of ROI.
How would you define leadership from your point of view? And what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
Yeah, I think leadership is inspiring people to follow you or join a group or tribe. And I think to get there, so that people follow you, you need to have clear values. Also stand for those values, speak them out. Also have a vision. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to take the team or the company? And if you make sure where you're headed and how you would like to get there, then I think it's also way easier for people to relate to your vision. And I think also once you have that, this is kind of the basic framework. And if you have that set up well, then you will get followership. And then your job is primarily to really fight for the vision and defend it as long as possible to get to this vision, defend it and make sure that the whole team is goes towards that vision. And I think if you translate that into leadership capabilities, I think is definitely having a vision and being able to come up with a vision, articulate a vision. Then it's always a marathon, so you need to have determination, perseverance. I think trust and honesty in today's world must be a given. It's very hard to be successful in a marathon without trust and honesty because it's not sustainable without. So you need to be high on integrity. And I also think you need to strive for excellence because I always say we now have, 6 billion, 7 billion people on the world. So if I have an idea, a good idea, then most likely there are several other people on the world who have exactly the same idea. So I also need to execute better than the others in order to really win on the market. And this is also a kind of quality that you need to have, because if you work with shitty quality, you will not be the one who is winning.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
Of course, and I think I learned a lot from mentors. Mentors are, I think, a really, really good opportunity to speed up your own personal development. In my case, I already said when I joined the company that my brother initially founded and working with him for the first 2-3 years while I was still very young, that helped me a lot, gain a lot of experience, but also get a lot of insight. And later on, also today, for example, in the Nuki board, so the shareholders who are invested in Nuki, there are a lot of personalities that I really value a lot. Very seasoned personalities with lots of experience. They've been very successful in business, and I think I can have a good dialogue and exchange and understand also, and I'm very open for the kind of feedback that I get from them, because in the end it's kind of they are sparring partners for me, and having those sparring partners is definitely very relevant, because without that I think it's kind of risky that you don't stay grounded. And I think staying grounded is also what all my mentors have taught me along the way. So all my mentors were always people who I think are very grounded. And they also showed me that that's something that is actually really relevant if you want to be successful over a longer period of time.
Key career lessons. If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
I think if you would have asked me about what are my superpowers 10 or 20 years ago, I was really very much convinced about speed. I thought speed is something where I'm really strong at, And it's also a superpower, because if I'm just really fast, then I can also afford to make mistakes, because if I'm fast, then I have corrected my mistake before the competitor even made one step. That was kind of my understanding. So I always strived for speed. And I think what I learned over the years is, if you're too much into that, you run into the risk of burning out, because you just want to go faster and faster and faster. And if you want to be successful over a longer period of time, then you need to learn to go with the flow, and there is a certain rhythm for everything, and timing. And I think the value of time in general is something that I saw totally different 10, 20 years ago than I see it today. So I still think speed is key, but you need to know when it's good to go with speed, and when is also a time where you need to rest and go down. And having the right balance between those two, that's really key. And I learned it the hard way, because I tried to go with speed until I couldn't give any more to it. Personally, my batteries were out, so now it's different.
Is there a book, a movie, a show that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
First of all, I do read lots of books. I wouldn't say that there is a book that really changed my career perspective, but what I found really interesting, I really like all the books from Malcolm Gladwell. And there is one of the books, unfortunately don't know the name of the book, where it's about this 10,000 hours rule. So you need to practice something for 10,000 hours, and only then you are really good at that skill, and so on. And I have a background in sports, so in tennis, and then it's a lot, when I read those books, I can relate to, okay, this is how it plays out in business, but then I also think how it was back when I played almost professional tennis. And that's always very interesting, because there are some commonalities between business and tennis. And because you said also which show, what I can recommend is definitely, there is a commencement speech from Roger Federer that he did at the graduation at the US university. And in that, he's telling how important it is to not be afraid of making mistakes and learning out of failure. Because even he himself, although he was one of the best tennis players in the world ever, I think he only won 55% of the points he played. So he lost 45% of the points he played, but he kept going. And I think this is a very important learning, and listening to this speech, I can recommend to everyone. It's short, but it's really worth the time, and also fun to listen.
Do you have any career advice for the next generation business professionals?
Well, coming out of Austria, which is just a very small country in the middle of Europe, I always give the advice to think big. Think big, I mean, in terms of distribution. So with today's landscape of app stores, and also Amazon is just a huge distribution opportunity if you do something around hardware. On software, we have app stores, we have the web, and so on. So there are all the platforms, and really think global from start, because it's a huge opportunity to be able to sell to 6 billion people, whereas on the other side, if you're just restricting yourself to a certain country or territory, it's just way harder, because things are smaller. So think big, be brave, and go for it. And if you have a good product and idea, just run with it. Throw it out to customers, listen closely to your customers, and learn at the beginning as fast as possible, and then learn to balance a little bit speed with your own energy.
Well, in the American Business Podcast, do you have any question that you would like to ask me?
Question that I would like to ask you. Well, what I would think really cool is, will you buy a smart lock now?
I'll definitely look into it. Where can I find it? Amazon?
You can order it
In US?
on Amazon or our own website right away. You can install it on your own. It gets delivered to your door, and a few minutes later, you have a digital key. No more physical keys.
Sold. Okay, okay. I mean, I like it. Yeah, thank you very much. Absolutely, it's been a great conversation. For those who like to learn more about Nuki and about your company, what is the best way that they can get in touch with your organization?
Yes, so just go to www.nuki.io, and you can learn everything about Nuki there. If you want to get in touch with me personally, then I think LinkedIn is the easiest way to go. Just search up my name and you will find me, and then just reach out.
Martin, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. It's been a great conversation, and thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me in the American Business Podcast. Great to be here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I wish you a happy new year and great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, we'll be right back after a short break. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the #1 source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products, and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much for being with me in the American Business Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was very informative. And we talk about an interesting industry, luck and security. And we learn about how a traditional industry can be revolutionized with the help of software, technology, and AI. So in that sense, it was very educational, informative, and I hope you like it. If you like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you like to advertise, sponsor the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. I also like to invite you to our website, americanpodcast.tv, to see our coming schedule as well as updates. Thank you so much for being with me in the American Business Podcast. I'm looking forward to having you in the coming the American Business Podcast episodes. Thank you very much and have a great day. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Becker. Anywhere Apps are designed to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps are family of business software products. There are more than 40 products available for business process digitization and automation. Anywhere's apps are easy to use, they are standalone, and they are also ready to integrate with your ERP and accounting software systems. Today, I'd like to promote APS Anywhere, which is part of Anywhere Apps software product portfolio. APS Anywhere, designed for manufacturing companies. Whether you are a process manufacturing company, food and beverage, chemical, and more, or a discrete manufacturing company, automotive, aerospace, electronics, and more. APS stands for Advanced Planning and Scheduling. APS Anywhere is ready to streamline, digitize, and automate your production planning process. As you know, in manufacturing, production planning is not easy. There are always some bottlenecks and challenges. You need to put together your resources, 3M, man, machine, and material. APS Anywhere designed to streamline this process and automate it for you. It is a modern system. It runs on cloud. It also has deployment options for installation on your server or your private cloud environment. The system is scalable. It comes with unlimited number of production planning scenarios, meaning before you execute, you can see the financial implications and timing of your production planning on APS Anywhere. APS Anywhere comes with a very colorful and easy-to-use Gantt chart so that you can see your production planning on a colorful and easy-to-operate Gantt chart before you finalize your production planning purposes. The system is also integratable. It is ready to integrate your ERP system, MRP system, and other systems whenever there is a need. It is designed for manufacturing companies by manufacturing experts. It also comes with ready-made reports if you like to utilize. Furthermore, on APS Anywhere, you can also use demand forecasting function, meaning based on your past manufacturing and sales figures, the system can predict what will be your demand in the future. This will help you manage your supply chain in a more productive manner. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about APS Anywhere as well as Anywhere App software system in general. There is more. I have a direct line for you. You can send me a direct email, kevin@kerrconsulting.com. kevin@kerrconsulting.com, and I'll be happy to hear from you about Anywhere Apps, APS Anywhere, or any Anywhere Apps that is offered by Anywhere Apps by Kerr Consulting, now Cherry Becker. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit, Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people. from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event, networking and podcasting together. It is called Connectional America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During this unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. You'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event, networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support.